everyone, and welcome to the ProPokeBowl Season 5, Week 10. My name is ProPokeBowl, and thank you very much for joining us. Tonight is the final night of the regular season. This is the night where we determine when everybody is going to be going into the playoffs and who will be sent home, along with the Las Vegas Golden Lucarios. You're going to see some things floating on your stream as well. You're welcome. Either way, thank you much for joining me. It has been a grueling 10-plus weeks for all of these coaches, and only 6 of them will move on from here on out tonight. But in order to know what that means, we need to take a look at the challenge. Let's take a look at the standings as we make our way into where the heck is everything. Kasploosh, there we go. In first place, defending his top spot, is the Fortnite Ninjas. 16 technical wins and 1 singular loss at 25 points. Second place, looking to take it away from him tonight. Traverse City Thunders with 23 points. Manchester Manetric sitting in third place for now with 18 points. If I Am Groot has anything to say about it, he'll be vying for it. In fourth place with 16 points. Golden State Greninjas and Lunar Cresselias both biting their nails tonight. As with that Golden State Greninja loss last week, Lunar Cresselias can decide the fate for Golden State Greninjas. Both of them sitting in fifth place. Wow, I can speak English. I swear to God, the Nets didn't do anything to my mouth. And in last place, but not necessarily yet, Ice Cold looking to make his way into the playoffs. It is possible for him to do. Where's all my stuff? There we go. Awesome. What is the order we're going to be fighting? I Am Groot versus Lunar Cresselias will be starting us off, followed by Ice Cold versus Manchester Manetric, and the featured matchup of the night between Fortnite Ninjas and Traverse City Thunderous. First versus second place. If Shark King 309, coach of the Traverse City Thunderous, comes out with a 2-0 tonight, he will be stealing first place in that all-important position where he chooses what side of the semifinals he sits on to face the winner of the elimination round. Fortnite Ninjas will be handed that. But of course, if you're Mitchie W, coach of the Fortnite Ninjas, you want to be sitting in that position, which means all he needs to do is win a single game. He just needs one win, and first place is his. But for now, we need to talk about the other matches because those are going to be coming up first. For those of you who entered the fantasy draft, I made a couple of mistakes, so let's talk about that really quickly. So the fantasy draft is still on, but just to let you all know, on the ProPoke podcast, we told you that we were going to be announcing the winner tonight. We will only be announcing the winner tonight if there are no tiebreakers, as well as if there is a clear definitive winner. I forgot we were voting on the Season 5 champion, so I prematurely said I'll tell you the winner. However, I did check since it's a small amount. There are only 2 entrants out of the 6 that can come out on top when it comes to the fantasy league. You know, I think some of that fluoride's choking me up. 1 second here. Sorry, guys. What am I looking at? It's louder than me? It shouldn't be. I didn't move anything. Let me check something. Cover your ears. This has always been the volume. Is that better? The mic is super quiet. No, it's not. It's right there. Nothing's changed. Huh? Is that better? I mean, I'm close. Oh, because I was talking back here. Sorry, I got into it. Nah, they're not trolls. I mean, well, one could argue they are not trolls. Really? Why is that? Let me check something though. That's bizarre because I haven't touched a single audio thing on this thing for weeks. Just gonna do one quick check. Now that's too quiet. Why is that? I don't know. Either way. Is that what you wanted, Tim? Is everybody happy now? Okay, either way, so there are only 2 people who could potentially come out because technically they are both tied on predictions of the seedings. So, in the event, because they both voted for the same winner in the end, in the event that we are able to determine the winner tonight of Fantasy League, we will do that after the playoffs drawings. Because we will be doing that tonight. We'll be determining if there are any tiebreakers, then we can't do any drawings. But without any tiebreakers, which there are a couple of situations where that can happen, then we will do the drawings as well as the fantasy draft winner, unless... No, that's the way we have to do it, so either way. Is it? Oh, don't tell me it's connected to the wrong laptop mic. Hold on. Good looking out, chat. No, it's Blue Snowball. Are you? No, it's showing me. It's showing that I am hitting the Blue Snowball. What the frick? Anyways, we're fine. Let's get into the first match of the night between Lunar Crescelius and I Am Groot. That's all I had to say about that. I made a mistake on the ProPokeBowl podcast, and now you guys aren't going to be able to hear this very well. So I'm going to turn this back up, because I fixed it so there were nothing. There was nothing wrong. But nonetheless, we have things to talk about, because this first match, like I said, everything is important tonight. This one's going to be equally important, because Tyler PokeTrainer has to hold his position in here, lest Ice Cold wants to take it away from him. A win here would be enormous for Tyler PokeTrainer up against the coach of I Am Groot, Sweet D. Because Sweet D has also been sitting. He is guaranteed to be in playoffs, but it depends on how much information you want to show. Because this last week there aren't as many huge implications, there is going to be some discussion around whether or not coaches are going to be showing a lot. Obviously, Fortnite Ninjas have to be prepared against Traverse City Thunderous, because these types of playoffs, to have control of first place, to have control of where you sit in the semifinals and who you're going up against, because you can just easily make yourself choose the easier side and go straight to the finals if you're feeling that confident. For I Am Groot, doesn't have to show much. He can be kicked the 5th seed, he can be kicked the 4th seed. It won't matter much, because he doesn't have a position where he will be losing his playoff chances. For Tyler PokeTrainer, though, for Lunar Crescelius here, they need to be concerned. There is a giant chance that if Ice Cold pulls off an enormous upset against Manchester Manectric tonight, he can be kicked out. So, he needs to make sure that he can do the best that he can. And what is that going to entail? It's going to be an uphill struggle. Luckily for him, there are a couple things that he can handle. First of all, the bans that they had against them were neither of them actually banned. Neither of them traded either. So it's a 12v12. So what does that mean? We have to look at the powerhouses that we've seen from both teams. For Lunar Crescelius, they have access to both Megas. Which one are they going to be going for? I did call the Mega Pidgeot because I feel like it can get a little bit more done than the likes of the Mega Manectric. It has shown both in statistics and in play that the free spam of Hurricane has been better for Lunar Crescelius in the wins that he has accrued and in the games that even if he hasn't won them, he's looked better in, because it's just more flexibility. He's gotten a lot more U-turning off. It just seems like a Pokemon that is easier to execute. For the side of I Am Groot, he's got a big powerhouse now. He's got that Entei, which he hasn't used yet. He has the likes of the Suicune. He has access to all of these Pokemon, the Terrakion, the Serperior. All of these Pokemon are a giant threat. The other reason why I think we need to see the likes of the Hurricaning Mega Pidgeot is it's going to handle a lot of these things outside of Scarf Terrakion. So, what do we have to think about? Suicune gets walled by Water Absorb Seismitoad. Outside of that, it's going to come down to Entei and Serperior versus that Mega Pidgeot. Can Sweet D outplay Tyler PokeTrainer? I think the answer is the experience is going to speak a lot here. Lunar Crescelius have shown that they can play the game out fairly decently, but and to a level where we'd expect for them to be a playoff contender. The issue is the team has only been developing it because the points are so low, and it's going to determine his playoffs potentially by how well Ice Cold does as well as his own performance tonight. Going up against I Am Groot in this last week where the pressure is on could just prove that if he can take Sweet D down, he has earned it, right? If he can't take Sweet D down, he's at the mercy of Ice Cold Manchester Manectric. And honestly, it would be a big statement here for not only Tyler Poke to beat Sweet D, but for Sweet D to show this form that we expected at the beginning of this season. There has been a lot of bad luck for him. There has been a lot of tribulations and all of these things, you know, seeing him again getting O2'd by Fortnite Ninjas. It was a big deal to just see someone fall so heavily, and arguably the only thing that had to be done was a Mamoswine ban in retrospect. But nonetheless, both of them winning against here is going to show how strong they're going to be going into the playoffs, but there is that option for them to hide that information. Tyler Poke, though, I think he has to try a little bit harder, so let's see what it's going to look like when we get into game number 1 here of the final week between Lunar Crescelius and I Am Groot. If you are an Ice Cold fan, you are an I Am Groot fan tonight, because you do not want to see your team kicked out at this range. Where are they? Neither of them are in here. Oh, here we go. I'm Groot's in here. Let's get into it. Sorry, kind of in a rush coming home from everything else, but, hey, whatever. Let's go. Game number 1 between Ludicrous Celias on the close side. I am Groot on the far side. Let's take a look at the teams that have been chosen for the first match of the night. Mega Manectric has been the choice, and the Entei is showing its face. That is a lot of speed and aggression action coming out from the side of I am Groot. We've seen this before, though, where that Suicune just adds that nice defensive core, and now with the Steelix Blissey becomes literally the best physically defensive wall in the tournament, mixed with the best specially defensive wall in the tournament, and then Suicune to round it out instead of when they need to. What does this mean? This means that the Sizer-Toad's got to be very important to shut down that Suicune. Unless that Suicune's brought stuff, we can see the Toxic come out from this moveset, so it's not the worst thing in the world. But we'll have to see what Ludicrous Celias have also brought, because dropping Thunder on that Suicune is not going to be the only answer. We've seen it before with Golden Snake or Ninjas. It wasn't enough. The Toxic is confirmed on the Blissey, as we pretty much expected was going to be happening. The Incineroar is going to absorb that. Now, Jirachi could have come in as well to put offensive pressure down with the Iron Head, as well as having to be able to block that Toxic. We might see that adaptation in game number 2. But the knockoff comes out on the Suicune. Leftovers being gone is actually a huge deal. If this Pokemon starts getting going early, at least you've taken away that extra healing behind the sub, or what have you, because we don't know what Suicune it could be. It could be Rescoon still, so it might not be the biggest deal, but taking away any survivability on that Suicune is going to be important. The Sylveon actually comes in as a double switch comes in with the Entei, an immediate switch into Sizer-Toad. As Sacred Fire comes through, a Burn here would actually be pretty good, but doesn't get the 50-50. The reason why I say Burn is Sizer-Toad will feel better healing that off. We don't see Leftovers, though, so we don't. It might just be Rindoberry to try and take on the Superior. Might know something, or he might know something that we don't. I don't think you're living this Leaf Storm, but the Superior comes in for free. It's a free +2. Cryogonal has to come in to tank the hit, but the sub is set up first. And now, I Am Groot feels safe setting up here. They're going to be able to set up multiple times and get enough damage down. He actually sets up his own sub, though. That's an interesting play coming out for the Cryogonal, because this is still a free setup. That's even worse now, because the +4 is here. Freeze Strike can come through, but the damage, he can just keep going for sub, and he's going to build the +6, and he's going to just be able to take out the Cryogonal first of all. So he's going to be looking for a Pokemon that's going to try and answer this outside of its speed. It is so fast, it is Mega Man. Mega Man would have to come in to go for the likes of the Overgrowth, but the Incineroar instead. +6 says I can tank it with the Assault Vest. That's a sketchy situation. This is going to be a damage calc moment, because I don't know if that's going to matter. +6, pretty hard to assume that things are going to live, especially when it's only half resistant. Quad resistant, still possible, but half? You're playing a dangerous game there. We'll have to see, and even then, it might not even be Leaf Storm. Dragon Pulse exists on Superior. +6 Dragon Pulse could still kill this off. I mean, actually, they'd be the same strength. Wouldn't miss. Nope, it would be stronger still to go for the Leaf Storm. So what is he playing at here? Have we seen it? We haven't seen an item on this, so it could be Scarf. Oh my god, he actually takes it super well. Knockoff comes through. He doesn't go for the Flare Blitz. We have seen Fireless Incineroar before. Taking the Leftovers does not matter. If you can't kill it, you've given him a free pass to get a free game off. And that is scary, but nice to see for Ice Cold, because this is what you want to vote for. You don't want to see this happen. Mega Manectric does come in. The Blissey will come in to absorb it. Don't have to take the risk. The Superior is set to speed at any of the times Mega Man's not in. Flamethrower is shown. Nice crit. No burn. No big deal. So now we have the Mega Man setup. Mega Man is faster than Superior. This is going to be a positive for him. The damage also on Superior without the Leftovers being able to heal him will mean that Flamethrower will be a one-shot, might be a one-shot to begin with. I don't know that damage calculation off the top of my head. But what is he going to Volt Switch into? Jirachi still makes the best sense here to absorb the Toxic, absorb the Sizer Toss. Anything like that is still going to be perfectly fine. It's still too loud? What the hell? It's not. Either way, Toxic will come in for the Jirachi. Makes the most sense. The Steelix will be coming in. The Sizer-Toad comes out. The Mega will happen. The Curse! Curselix! I have not seen that in a long time. The Wish will be passed off to the Sizer-Toad. Again, we have seen him use Wish quite a bit with Sylveon, but now he has a double Wish combination. Scald will happen. Does not get the burn, though. That's a lot of damage you have to tank. And this was your answer to Suicune. And you have to question, if he doesn't get the burn here, I think it might still be just too much damage. It's not going to be enough, luckily for him. But this was your Pokemon to answer anything on Suicune. And if Suicune has Ice Beam, this thing cannot tank the hits and threaten it anymore with the Toxic if it's even covering it anymore. As Blissey will now be coming in to absorb the Scald. Don't need to risk any Pokemon here. Go for the 6-0. Keep anything to tank up physical hits. As the Softball will come in, as the Earthquake is used, That's not going to do it. I think he's running out of options here. Jirachi does have to come in, but the size of toss makes the most sense. Either go for the kill or at least get the damage on the Jirachi, which is the most natural switch in for that Toxic. Wish comes in as the heal bell will happen too, so removing the burn, but also just playing it safe because he doesn't lose anything by going for that. The Iron Head will come out, does get the flinch, and a tiny bit of a heal. So this is what we want to see. Jirachi is an obnoxious Pokemon that things have to deal with if they're not faster than it. Entei will come in. The Thunder Wave comes out, though. Well played by Lunar Cresselia. That's a big risk, though. He does take the Sacred Fire. Burn will spell Doom, but just barely because the leftovers will stay not toasty. Healing Wish. That is just a true star Pokemon. As now Sizedale will come in fully healed, and that is a paralyzed Entei. So it's 6-3. The win condition is Mega Man here for Lunar Cresselia, but how much can you get done outside of just trying to get damage down? Because this Blissey can keep everything free of status. It's just going to go for the heal bell right now. It knows it's going to be safe. It might even go for Soft Boil first and foremost. It does got the Natural Cure as well to absorb any status that would come out of these Pokemon. And he's just gonna keep himself safe, even gets the Toxic off the side, so this is not what you want to see. This is Lunar Cresselia collapsing in game number 1, as I Am Groot is looking to take 3rd place, depending on the outcome between Ice Cold, Manchester, Metric. It's too early to tell in the night. There are too many numbers that can be tossed around here. He's just going to keep Earthquaking, but this damage does not matter. The Toxic is racking up. He has to get the Sylveon in sooner than later to get the heal off if he has a plan. But I don't think there's a plan here, unless that's a Calm Mind Sylveon I don't know about. What is the play here? I Am Groot looking at 4th place right now, could take 3rd depending on what happens with Ivan tonight, but he is just going to be tearing it down, and taking 1 game off here for against Lunar Cresselia is a great way to start it. Just gets the Soft Boiled off. Toxic will finish the Toad down, and it's 6-2. You need Lunar Cresselia. The Lunar Cresselias do need to realize at least they've learned some information here in game number 1, so they can adapt in game number 2. Don't let that Toxic go off first and foremost. We know that it's going to be a problem with the Cryogonal. Lumberry spotted on Sylveon with a sub coming out. Interesting. This could be Subcom Mind, actually. It is. Fascinating. Hey, I was right. Look at that. Now, he will be able to break the sub, though, with Seismic Toss, and Blissey will feel super safe here. In fact, he doesn't even have to worry about it. He can just keep going for it. It's not in the best interest for him to do this, especially as he has to go for Wish now. It's going to be too late. But he's just going to try and set up. I don't think +3 Hyper Voice even does 50% against this. It's too late, though. He doesn't even have the max HP, or is not a max HP on that to even manage it. This is going to be an easy 6-0 for I Am Groot in game number 1. The Toxic will basically put the timer on Lunar Cresselia's. It will be day soon, and I Am Groot is playing the Song of Time as he is 1 step closer to bringing himself towards that 3rd place. And if you're an I Am Groot fan, you want to see him in 3rd seat just for the heck of it. Of course, being 3rd through 6th does not matter for anything outside of the fantasy draft. They will both be going potentially into the playoffs at Limbs round, but for now, that is game number 1 going to I Am Groot. And because this is Lunar Cresselia's, we get to ask that all-important question. Is it going to be the likes of the Mega Pidgeot coming out? Because in that iteration of the team, it got nothing done. I Am Groot says, I've got all of these Pokemon that are super high value, super aggressive, and they're going to destroy anything that you bring out. And the only answer that you have is potentially a Scarf Pokemon and one of your fast Megas. And what happened? The Serperior got an early setup, got a couple of kills, started crippling the Toad, so it becomes a win condition. The absorption, the no Flare Blitz on the Serperior was maybe even I Am Groot thinking to themselves, well, we don't see him run. We don't see him run fire moves on this very often, or if he does, he doesn't use them very much. So maybe he's just feeling as safe as he can. But that's a good thing to know, that it's only 50% with a +6 against an Incineroar with Assault Vest. Because that's got to be Assault Vest. It took it way too well, but even then, that is pretty safe feeling for him. So You know, I don't know. I think he needs to come into a different game plan with game number 2 because there's just not much at all there in terms of the play. Stayed in too long, should have seen things coming, had a lot of ways to check a lot of moves, especially the status moves coming out from the Blissey or coming out from other Pokemon. So if he's not going to kill off the Serperior, what does that mean for game number 2? Does I Am Groot just start setting up instantly? Does he feel safe enough to say, hey, you have nothing to answer minus the Cryogonal? Do we see Lunar Cresselia ever respond and answer with Cryogonal? I don't know. Because the worst part about it all is you've answered a Superior, and you still have 5 other threats in the back. You have a Cursed Steelix, which should do a lot of damage with Heavy Slam plus Earthquake. You have an Entei spamming Sacred Fire. You've got Terrakion, which didn't even show its face. It didn't even have to do anything. So we don't know if it's Scarf, Banded, Double Dance. We don't know what it's going to be running. So this is a lot of information that's been hidden, and on top of that, I Am Groot is taking points. So that's like the win-win scenario if you are an I Am Groot fan, because... you know, that's just a dream situation for him to be able to just play out his team super standard, doesn't have to hide anything, and even then, he could be hiding something, especially if these two meet in the playoffs after tonight, because again, that is a possibility. We could see I Am Groot and Lunar Cresselia's randomize into each other during the elims round, and the last thing you want to do is go in after an 0-2 week and then look at a potential 3-0 for I Am Groot because you didn't get that much information. You can go back and look at the PokePastes, but how does it feel not being able to figure that out, especially going into the playoffs and having to put your whole life on the line with that particular matchup? It's going to be interesting, so we'll have to see if anything else is going to come out of it. Bet command? The bet command is not, why are you guys trying to bet? Oh, because it's telling you it hasn't been put on yet. I don't know what you guys are talking about. It should, but I haven't paid for ProPokeBowl sub. I don't have that kind of money to pay $5 a month. Cheapers. Well, we're gonna find out in game number 2 because they are loaded into the match, which means, you know... what's it gonna be? Oh man. I'm hoping that he figured out something on the break because I don't know what's gonna happen if he just goes through this same thing. But I Am Groot is up 1-0. You don't need to bring anything different. But Lunar Cresselia says, well, I have the Hitmonchan and I have a Shaman. And that's going to be subbing out a couple of other Pokemon. So we'll have to see. What do these mean? What is the Shaman going to offer this? Could have an HP Fire or an Air Slash to handle the Superior and be able to be another Pokemon to tank it up. Sees the Cryogonal wasn't enough, but Shaman can still tank from the very beginning. And it might be built defensively as well to handle the Superior. But the Steelix is going to lead against the Scythertoad. Could be carrying the Toxins. Gotta be careful. Scythertoad cannot be your Pokemon. Also, without the Sylveon, there is no Heal Bell. There could be Aromatherapy on the Shaman, but that's as much as it's going to get. The Scald comes through on the Suicune. Suicune switching in instantly might mean it is still a sub-Coon, but it's going for Calm Mind. It's not even checking for status because he loses nothing even if he gets status because he has his Blissey that's feeling fairly safe. Hitmonchan might be the answer to both the defensive walls. The Shaman makes his way in. It is sub-Calm Mind. So the question becomes, did he have something for the likes if he got locked into the side? So the answer is no. He is very confident in using the rest of his team to handle that Scythertoad before it has to matter. So many subs coming out here. He's got the growth on the Shaman. Your Chibi pet is growing. Chia pet, whatever, doesn't matter. Nonetheless, Bullet Seed is the choice, and if this hits 5 times, it doesn't, but that is an interesting moveset. Literally the Chia Pet, but that's going to answer the Suicune. It can't feel safe here against the likes of just a Giga Drain or anything like that. But the Entei will now come in. Another growth is used. Remember that Shaman can be mixed because it's at 100 across the board and it carries Earth Power. He can break the sub, but this could be a dead Entei. Let's check the moveset. The sub is used again. Just because wants to check to see if the Entei was going to stay in. I think if he's going to go for an attacking move, he goes for it now. But if he has that coverage, we're about to see it. The answer doesn't look like he has it because he ends up going for Bullet Seed. So it might be Synthesis or Aromatherapy or something as his last move. It could be a mono grass attacking thing. But nonetheless, that is something really good to note for the future. The burn on the Scythertoad is also pretty good. A lot less damage over time. Serperior will feel safe coming in now. It knows it has Scald. We know it has Earthquake. We haven't seen the Ice Beam. We don't know what else it is carrying. I think we only saw 3 moves, including that Stealth Rock. But Serperior can go for a free Leaf Storm and go for a free sub, knowing it can tank all the hits. The Glare comes in for the prediction, but the Ice Punch is used! Ice Punch! Interesting. So he's got a bunch of mixed attackers to try and manage everything that he possibly can. But we know that with that kind of investment, that will mean, That will mean that he will be he'll be going for general damage, but no kill damage, which means on Mega Manectric here to have to do it. The Blissey comes in after the Mega Man takes a bunch of leaves to the face. It is autumn, so it makes sense. The Flamethrower has to be used. You can't risk that thing just trying to stay in, tanking a hit and killing off your Mega Man. This is a win condition, but of course that does mean that Blissey feels as safe as it possibly can. Now the Steelix will be coming out. The Volt Switch will mean nothing. Now what? The problem here is, now you're dealing with a Mega Steelix, and you actually go for the Flamethrower. It's not going to be enough damage. Earthquake will doom this. That is Mega Man down. That's a huge win condition that Lunar Cresselia's was relying on, and now that's down. Not knowing the damage calcs, not doing the damage calcs. Again, it's general damage. It's not overheat, so you have an Ice Punch size of Toad, you have a Bullet Siege Shaman, which is perfectly fine, but look at the damage that's being dealt. It's not doing enough. Yeah, you get the burn on the Superior, which will nullify its leftovers, but what does that matter when I Am Groot just has still too many tools and you have no answers? You have to let things die. The Rindo Berry comes through, but it's not enough. It's gone, which means now Suicune is safe to set up on any Pokemon that can't kill it off. Incineroar's a pretty good Pokemon to start with. Shaman, no, but Jirachi, Hitmonchan, Incineroar, Suicune is free, and this is just the win condition being perfectly fine for I Am Groot, just being so comfortable with so many threats. Finally, the Flare Blitz shows its face, but it doesn't matter because now Terrakion can finally show up and show us what he was going to bring. Close combat's almost a guarantee. He could even go and predict the Jirachi and go for Earthquake, but I mean, it doesn't need to because it's going to hit everything for neutral. The Shaman doesn't want to take it. The Jirachi doesn't even want to take that much damage. There it goes. The Luchador cat thing has been taken down. Wrestler, whatever. They're all wrestlers if you think about it. But now we go from wrestling to boxing as Hitmonchan's going to make his way into the ring. I don't think at -1 a Mach Punch is going to be enough. Now, if he knows that he can take a hit, it doesn't matter because I Am Groot can still just switch freely. And this thing might be tanky enough to take the hit. Oh, it does! It might not outspeed, though. It will be taken down, but Suicune isn't needed. Yeah, it's 4-3, but Terrakion wins and Entei wins. That's basically it. If Entei comes in, spams Sacred Fire, things are dead. These are dead. That's pretty much it. Jirachi might not die flat out, but I have a feeling this is Choice Banded Entei. It just makes the most sense to run. It gives it so much power with its extreme speed, with its Sacred Fire. But here we go. Terrakion comes back out. The close combat comes through. It will be a one-shot on the Hitmonchan, and that might be the last shot for Lunar Cresselia's to take a point in this week, which means Ice Cold needs the 2-0, needs the 1-1 to force a best-of-3 tiebreaker against the Lunar Cresselia's. But here's the worst part. If it 2-0s if Manchester Metric get owed 2'd, this will be Ice Cold kicking out Lunar Cresselia's. It is now a world leader situation. You are sitting on the edge of your seat trying to figure out what's going to be happening. But at this point, even if we see the Steelix fall, it doesn't matter because at the end of the day, we see I Am Groot flexing, and that's a 2-0 over Lunar Cresselia's. That is a lot of 9-8s and 7. Wow, 989-878-9899. That's our battle number. That's it. Wow, we almost hit like the 1 billion. Oh, we were almost the 1 billionth battle, guys. Almost. Wow. And I mean, I don't know what more to say about that match. Let's be real. When it comes down to it, we know that Lunar Cresselia's don't have as much experience as I Am Groot, and in that kind of matchup, there's that many threats. You bring out a couple of different changes, it doesn't answer anything. So, unfortunately, Lunar Cresselia's, they don't want to. If they stay in for playoffs, they do not want to randomize into I Am Groot because it looks incredibly one-sided. Unless we see that there is a trade happening pre-playoffs if he does make it in. We'll talk about that later after all the battles are done. We might be in a tiebreaker situation here if Ice Cold can tie it up against Manchester Manectric, but we're going to have to wait until after the break, because after the break, that is when we'll see that matchup. Will Ivan take back third place, or will he basically, does he force the third place? No, he lost to Sweet D, so he will be fourth place. He has to 2-0 to take back third place. Otherwise, if they won one, that's a tiebreaker between Lunar Cresselia's and Ice Cold, and that'll have to be done on another day, and so will have to be the playoff seedings But we'll give you 7, and we'll see you after the break. You're watching the Pro Pokeball Season 5. I will get this. Found it. Yeah! Organized. Dang it, phone. Welcome back to the Pro Pokeball Season 5, Week 10. We're getting to our second series of the match, or of the night, where, you know, this one's actually going to be incredibly important because we're heading over to Ice Cold versus Manchester Benetric, and after those results, we have to now look at the situation here for primarily Ice Cold and also Lunar Cresselias and also Golden State Greninjas. First things first, before we go over here, let's take a quick look at the standings. So with that 2-0, that puts I Am Groot at 19 points and Lunar Cresselias at 14, tied with Golden State Greninjas. Now, if we look at the matchups between each other, if I recall correctly, these two got a 1-1 and these two 1-1, although I believe Golden State, I have to go look at that third one. Let's go take a look at the bracket really quickly. This will tell us. The way that we do it with tiebreakers when it comes to Pro Pokeball seeding is you need to look at the number of twos, or look at the head-to-head. If they 2-0, they are ahead of the game. So let's do this really quickly. Boop. Show me GS Greninjas. There we go. Okay. 1-1 against Lunar Cresselias, and then we're looking for the one against Ice Cold. It was also a 1-1. Oh my god, this is going to be enormous. Okay. They all 1-1'd each other. Great. So in the event that we see Ice Cold 1-1, the situation will go like this. We take a look at the number of 2-0 victories in their entire... Where am I here? There we go. Boop. We look at the number of 2-0 victories, which, if Ice Cold only 1-1s, Golden State Greninjas will be officially 5th seed, which means that Lunar Cresselias and Ice Cold will have to do a tiebreaker best of 3 if it 1-1s tonight. If Ice Cold 2-0s, he will be taking the 5th seed, and Golden State Greninjas will be taking the 6th seed, and because of more 2-0s on the side of Golden State Greninjas, it will be Lunar Cresselias that are removed. If Manchester Benetric get the 2-0 tonight, then it will be Ice Cold that is eliminated from Pro Pokeball playoffs. Many situations, many things to look at, but luckily for us, it's not a oh god rip a niche. I actually have Ice Cold favored in this matchup versus Manchester Benetric. Trick Room wins in this matchup. The Pokemon that Initiator has, if he uses it, I talked about it on the Pro Poke podcast. If you guys want to watch that over to my YouTube, you can go take a look at episode 11. But we talked about Trick Room winning. Ferrothorn, Crabominable, Slowbro, Yanmega. These Pokemon actually do a lot of damage. Heatran. These Pokemon can actually take out the defensive core that Manchester Benetric relies on heavily. Does that mean that Ivan has no options? Absolutely not. He has better options, in fact, to go aggressive in this particular matchup, because the one thing that shuts down Trick Room is literally not letting Trick Room do anything. So if we get the likes of an Absol, a Mienshao, or a Zygarde 10% leading and start to do damage ASAP, we need to see Initiator put on the back foot from turn 1. It's very easy to do against a Trick Room with a very strong team. With Ivan's team that heavily focuses on making sure that he can get as many walls as he can to whittle you down, he has options to go aggressive. Now, yes, he does not have the Cure in Black, and we don't have Mawile on the side of Ice Cold. But if we see more aggressive, if we see a more aggressive organization here for Manchester Benetric, so I'm trying to think what defensive Pokemon he could drop between his favorite 3. He's got a Alomomola, he's got Stack Attack, and he had the Togekiss. I think the Togekiss does okay, but they gotta worry about the Crabominable. So if he brings aggressive Pokemon to take out the threats that he'd be worried about, and then wants a comfy defensive sort of pivoting situation for himself, I think the Stack Attacka does the least here. Gotta worry about Heatran, although it brings the Earthquake. I don't know. It's really gonna depend on what Manchester Benetric predicts that Ice Cold would bring. But this is why I'm just thinking just go more aggressive and shut him down, because you have a bunch of fast Pokemon that can do a bunch of damage really quickly. And, I mean, Mienshao has Fake Out. Absol has Sucker Punch. Zygarde 10% is Extreme Speed. You got a lot of priority to even deal with it in the Trick Room. So if Initiator does go Trick Room, which is a great win condition for him, and plus his team's built around it, despite the fact that he has all of these Pokemon on his roster now. It looks bigger than it is. Look at all the crosses. That's what we're saying. But if Ice Cold is playing to that condition, if Manchester Benetric starts throwing punches from turn 1, I think Man can take a 1-1 or a 2-0 here, because this would be important for Ivan. We want to see how strong he can be in both situations, and I think this is a great time for him to test to see how aggressive he can go, because we've seen it in the past where he didn't have to actually rely on using his defensive core to win. It paid off, but when his defensive core wasn't that strong against his opponent, all of a sudden, then we have, well, he could go really hard, and he could just use really strong Pokemon like Huron Black, like Mega Absol, like the Mienshao, like the Nidoqueen, which has given him a lot of success as well. So this is going to be a true test of what is the other face of Manchester Manectric as we get into second series of the night. Game number 1 between Manchester Manectric and Ice Cold. We got Manchester Manectric on the far side. I thought I erased those scores. No big deal. We got Manchester Manectric on the far side. Ice Cold on the close side. What are we looking at here? That is a Hydreigon. That is Heatran, hopefully properly built because it's in this particular week. And let's take a look. Those Pokemon we mentioned, they're all freaking here. Those 4 of the 6 that we called are here in the Trick Room support. What is going to be the Manchester Manectric response? We didn't think Galvantula would be that great for the sticky web unless he's planning to keep Trick Room down non-stop. Now, the Galvantula lead means he most likely has a Focus Sash, wants to try and get as much damage down as possible. Galvantula on the offense isn't that bad, but we do see the Nidoqueen, we do see the Stack Attack and the Togekiss, so we don't see a full defensive wall here, because that Nidoqueen has proved to be a nice, specially defensive Pokemon for him while just going with the likes of Sheer Force to do damage. We've seen it with the Assault Vest, and it tanked up a lot of fantastic hits for himself. So now it's going to come down to, what does Potato do against a spider? Potatoes usually get eaten by spiders. HP Fire, not that common on Galvantula, but if it's a straight-out aggressive Galvantula, you could see it just so that you don't have to use Bug Buzz. Although Bug Buzz does a lot of damage to this team outside of Heatran, so don't want too many things tanking it, but nonetheless, Nidoqueen is going to be the switch, as the Stealth Rock is just used for Ice Cold. The more chip damage, the better. This is something we want to see a lot of people do against Manchester Manectric. Just get the damage down via Hazards. Hazards wreck Manchester Man because they don't have the Pokemon that can switch in comfortably against the metagame that they've been facing in this. Plus, I don't even think he has Togekiss, but it has to switch into so much damage, and the more damage you rack up against defensive walls, the better it is for you finishing him off in the late game. Hydreigon will be coming as the Absol also makes its appearance. Now, Absol could be carrying Play Rough, so you do have to be a little careful here with that Hydreigon. However, Hydreigon could be Scarfed. Couple of questions for both coaches as they stare each other down. Don't want to be losing any Pokemon anytime soon, as we do see a quick disconnect from Manchester Manectric. He has the 255 seconds to rejoin, and he has rejoined. Ferrothorn will be the double switch as the Mega Absol comes in, does check. It's a superpower, though. That's just more effective than Play Rough. That's a lot of damage Ferrothorn did not want to take, at least to put some barbs into the Absol, but that is a defensive wall that is being torn down, and that's the aggression we need to see right away, and we got it, turn 5. Not too bad. Good pivoting, though, from Manchester Manectric to make sure he's got the right Pokemon at the right time. Yeah, it's a -1 attack, but that's a lot of damage. A Choice Specs Mesperit's got to take now. And another knockoff will doom this thing. As the triple switch in with Grabominable, but now you're losing items, Anish, because that's a Life Orb gone, and Absol just can go for knockoff for free. It doesn't matter what he switches into. That's what makes knockoff such a prevalent and powerful move in the Gen 7 metagame. The fact that it has so much damage behind it, and with Stabber just in general, it's always just a decent hit that loses you nothing. It's similar to the likes of Scald, where you don't lose anything by going for it most times. But knockoff even less so. You lose even less by going for knockoff, because if anything switches in that doesn't have a Z-Crystal or a Mega Stone, it is ruined. You are not, if a 1-1 happens here tonight, World Leader, you are in the playoffs. You win the tiebreaker, so all you have to hope, you are a Manchester Manectric fan tonight because you want a 2-0, because that will keep you in the playoffs. I think no matter what, actually you are in the playoffs. Did I count that wrong? I might have counted that wrong. We'll look at it after, because I can't think of it right now. As the Ice Hammer goes through the spider's head, it's gone. Actually, it's probably a giant tick, because Joke tick. But nonetheless, who cares? Nobody's looking at this. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Absol is in and is looking to do more damage with that superpower. Such great value coming out from Absol. And this is what we're talking about. Look at the side of Ice Cold. He's got nothing to manage outside of Trick Room. So much damage can rain down between these threats. Now, we don't see the Mienshao, which I thought would be pretty good with the high jump kick spam, but maybe knowing that there'd be a lot of protect on the side of Ice Cold might just be ever worth it for him to justify worrying about all the recoil. Even though he has U-turn, you want to put damage down. I guess Mega Absol is going to be his choice, because Absol's still really strong. Okay, good. That's very true. No, you know it'd be terrifying if it had webs? Horses. I'll let you contemplate that as we see Dill Pickle. Oh, no, we're getting a Rugrats reference. Can't unsee. That is now put Tommy Pickle's face on Crabominable. You're welcome, the internet. Get us all the fan art for that and tilt Amagamma. Either way, the Absol is at -1. He still feels safe enough here to probably switch into Stack Attack. Despite the fact Crabominable actually destroys this wall, you would think that you want the Alomomola coming in to handle this thing. But yikes, that's still a decent amount of damage with the critical hit. Superpower does exist on this on this giant crab Dill Pickle guy. So Stack Attack might have actually, you know what? Let's see the speed tiers here. Yeah, he's outsped. Close combat, not superpower. Close combat will take it down, which is why I thought we'd see Alomomola come in, because it can pressure with Skull and try and get the burn on this thing. But hey, that's a lot of stats gone, which means Absol doesn't have its stats down. Yeah, you can go for the Protect. It still doesn't gain him anything, and in fact actually gets him abused as the Swords Dance comes out. Well played by Ivan, and that's why going for Protect at a time when you're not going to earn anything from it. There's no chip damage from hazards or weather or from anything else here. No status. So that just means he has a +2 Absol, and that means there's 2 to 3 valuable superpowers that can now be fired off. And Ice Cold has dropped momentum hard. I mean, the momentum was already gone without the Trick Room, but even though it's 5 to 4, now you got a lot of damage you have to answer for. And Slowbro's gonna have to take the risk. If it's Mega Slowbro, at least Knockoff will not get the double damage. But you're looking at +2 Knockoff. I don't think anything lives here. You have to start sacking. And here's the absolute scariest part. Even if he goes for superpower here, knowing he loses nothing, on the Mesprit most likely dies at 36%. And then on top of that, he's at +1, and he just goes for knockoff anyways. He knows, and now he's at +2. This is the worst case scenario, because now that Ivan predicts that would not have killed Crabominable, I don't think, at +2, because he had no item. So now that he kept the +2 with that nice prediction, now he's got a bunch of superpowers that can fly out, unless this thing is being threatened to be the Scarfer. And if it is the Scarf, well, then you lose the Absol, and that would actually be a really big deal. So maybe Manchester United not being able to abuse as much situations right now. But Ice Cold playing it cool because he's still got the pressure. He calls the bluff, says you're not Scarfed, and will take out the Hydreigon. And I think that's all she wrote, ladies and gentlemen. That's a +1 knockoff flying towards the Slowking, or Slowbro rather. Might not kill, but I think he's done the damage. And Nidoqueen and Zygarde 10% should be able to still clean it up, unless what we see is Slowbro live, go for Trick Room, and then for 4 turns, he has to answer on the side of the Manchester Manectric. So maybe not as dire as we think, but it could be scary. Here we go. Knockoff actually only does just below half, so here's the... Okay, not that bad then. I forgot that he gets a bunch of defense when he megas, so that's good to know. At +2 would have been horrifying. At +1, Inish knows the damage calcs. He knows he can take 3, which means now he can slack off and stall this out, but instead he's like, no, I can just kill you. Noob, what are you talking about? That's a very good point, Inish. Well played. But he is going to take that out, and now he still has the speed where he can slack off and just try and put this down. It's not over yet. 3v3. How much damage could Zygarde, Togekiss, and Nidoqueen lay down? Because once Slowbro goes down, Nidoqueen says hello to the crab and the fire crab? Zygarde 10% can also answer both of them. The Togekiss at least is a special defensive wall, so it can come in. Maybe he's worried about the Ice Beam though, which is why it's not the instant play. Most times you don't see Mega Slowbro run it. Slowbro can run Fire Blast and Ice Beam, gets away with it a little more, but most times you want to go for that Combine safe. Mega Slowbro can't get crits. But Nidoqueen is going to be the Pokemon to come in. Does he know he can tank it up? That could confirm that he has the Assault Vest. He barely lives, but he gets burned. That's going to be a Roasted Queen as the Thunderbolt, though, for the exchange of kills. And now Zygarde 10%. We might just see Togekiss come in to waste the last 2 turns of Trick Room, but there's no Trick Room left, as that means how much damage is on that Crabominable. It's not enough. You might see Crabominable be able to take enough damage and hold it off against Zygarde. That T-Tran's not going to live it, though, unless it's on a balloon, but even then, it's got to come in and show that eventually. So what is it going to be? This will reveal the sets. It could be incredibly pivotal in game number 2, because this is now... Inish knows he dies to Zygarde 10. He knows he can't take damage on the crab, so it might be Heatran coming in against the Togekiss, because you can't send Zygarde in this late yet, unless he's put 0 speed investment into his Zygarde, which would be an incredible mind game that should not exist. It should never happen. We did have a disconnect from Manchester Man. He is coming back in. He has 165 seconds left on his clock. Of course, if someone does disconnect at this point, it is unfortunately a loss for them. But he has 2.5 minutes to make this choice. Crabominal will make it in versus the Togekiss. This is great. He has to go for Protect, or this could be the sweep for Ice Cold. He is going to hit the Ice Hammer, and now, with that minus speed, Zygarde cannot take the hit, and Nish from behind got his win condition, and that's going to be the miss! What is he going to take? He has to take the Z-move, and that's going to be a Tectonic Rage taking out the Crab! An unbelievable turn of events! You don't want that to happen! That was the win, but 10% says no! And then the 1,000 Arrows is gonna take out the Heatran unless it's carrying Shuka and has max defense. That is such a tilter. And Nish just saying, I can go aggressive, don't have to worry about that being lost. He's calling it much better than I am, and Nish is making the right plays here, going aggressive. Can he tank it? I don't think it's the case. Shuka might not be enough, but who knows? The Metal Furret has to be the hero. And Manchester disconnects for intensity. Oh, man. What a turn. That is... And this is gonna leave nerves. I mean, Ivan's not trying to do this, but that's nerves here. 1,000 Arrows comes in, one-shots, and at the very end, steals game number 1 from Ice Cold's Dead Hands. Oh, no. Maybe we could say that Ice Cold is on I Am Groot's level, because that level of hacks cost him a point. And, you know, it just means Sweet D equal to Ice Cold. It's happened to both of them now. Unbelievable. And, we gotta talk about that game, because that game emulated everything we wanted to see. It showed exactly what happens in both situations. It shows that when Trick Room is up, Ice Cold wins, but when Trick Room's down, Manchester Manectric wins. That was the exact amount of pressure he needed to put down, and even then, you could say Ivan dropped a couple of pressure because then he went to the Nidoqueen, didn't try and stall these things out. He called it on the what's it called? He called it out on the Hydreigon not being scarfed. But then the scary thing is, you see how much damage it did to Slowbro, and that might be a damage calc he wasn't ready for. But that was Anish's game. He took it at the end. Says, we don't need to stay defensive. We just go Crabominable and win because Ice Hammer kills both. So now, do we see a switch? Do we see Stakataka taken out for the Alomomola? Yes, Stakataka can go for the likes of the Gyro Ball and maybe take down the Crabominable, even though they're both fairly slow. So I thought the Alomomola and Togekiss would be the better defensive choice for Manchester Manectric, but he barely ekes it out with being able to go for the Tectonic Rage to take Crabominable in the end. And my goodness, you don't want to know. I don't even want to know what Anish is feeling right now, because that is a last-minute steal at the second lowest accurate, or the second lowest possibility you can have for an inaccurate move. 95 and then followed by 90 now. Oh boy, but the good news is, despite the fact that Pokemon is filled with RNG, and that's why we love and want to throw the game off a cliff sometimes, he knows his conditions. He knows how much damage he's going to take from a +1 of all things to a +1 from that Mega Absol, and he knows he can kill it off from that range with the Scald without even having to set up. So this is good news for Anish, and if he makes it into the playoffs by taking a point and then wins the tiebreaker, because at this point, that's the last straw for him. If he wins Game 2, he has to tie-break against Ludicrous because we can't draw people tonight. But that's not a big deal. We want to see it because that was Anish's game to win, because he played it so well, getting the Truth Group set up at the exact time that he needed to. That's a bad taste in the mouth for Ice Cold. But for Manchester Manectric, I mean, I don't think they're going to be sweating as much. There's zero pressure. Even if he had lost that, sure, he's 4th seed. He doesn't care. He's in no matter what. So a 2-0 for Ice Cold would have just been, I think that Manchester Man would that be 5th seed for them? Yeah, it'd be 4th seed for them no matter what. So this point just means he could kick out I Am Groot for that tiebreaker. But even then, getting a 2-0 here for Manchester Manectric will put him back in 3rd place. Of course, like I said, tiebreakers would be used mainly for fantasy draft. So That would be the way it'd have to go. Wouldn't matter anything for playoffs, it'd just be for the fantasy draft. People who are trying to win a $10 Steam gift card. But, the burn kill paid off immensely. Remember, if you guys want to see all of the battles, you can go to Exclamation Teams. Gives you access to the Coaches Hub, where you can go over to the tab that says Battles, and you can look up every single battle from Week 1 all the way to the playoffs when we fill those in. But this is a shake-off. This is a shake-off for Anish. Manchester Manectric has no pressure, so mentally going into game number 2, he's going to be feeling fine. Play the same match. He knows he has to get more damage down onto the Slowbro, and the scary thing about that Mega Slowbro, though, because one thing that I really thought about afterwards, is when it's Mega, even if he doesn't Mega up, he can take the hits and deliver hits back and use Regenerator to keep bulky. So Anish, between the Ferrothorn, the Hydreigon, the Heatran, and the Slowbro, can make a lot of switches despite the fact that he's super weak to Dark and Fighting, respectively. Luckily, he's not going up against what's a Dark Fighting type, Pangoro. And he doesn't have to worry, like, he has to worry about those stab moves or just the super effective moves, but he's got Pokemon that can stay relatively stable, and then he has, of course, once he sets up Trick Room, he's on the offense. So you're always going to be paying out a little bit more than you want to if you're ice cold, but that's because the payout is going to lead to the win, and he had the win there, and he was stolen away by a 10% misinvestment. I have no choice, Fantasy. Your name happens to share a name of the fantasy draft. See you later, gamer. Have a great night, dude. For everyone who's in chat, thank you very much for showing up for the last week of the ProPokeBowl Season 5. We'll have information for you on the playoffs as well as the fantasy draft after the conclusion of today. We'll see what happens. If we do have a tiebreaker match, though, we're going to try and get a day that both of them are agreeing to, and we'll do it earlier. We might actually do it over Discord. I'm not too sure. Might have to make it something easier than just bringing it to stream. Either that, we'll have to work it out at some point. Because it will just be a best of 3, and I'd hate to just open stream for like 40 minutes to do a best of 3. That wouldn't make much sense. Cindy, welcome to the stream. How you doing? Okay. Reset chat. If you are an ice cold fan, you are rooting for him right now. If you are a Manchester Manectric fan, you're sitting pretty. You're just eating popcorn, because I think that's the most appropriate response right now, as ice cold is only hoping for a tiebreaker at best. Can he do it? Can he pull it back? Can he shake off the tilt and bring the team that we thought he would? There's all 5 Pokemon, the Yanmega and the Comfey, to round it off. Last time, Comfey did not do it for us. Yes, it was matched with the Moltres, but it was a setup Comfey, similar to that Cryogonal we saw tonight. And that Shaman. It is down to this. Ice Cold up against Man for playoff chances. This is Golden State Greninjas and Ludicrouselius seeing who they might be meeting. They already knew that Manchester Manectric and I Am Groot were going to be their potential opponents in the eliminations round. But now they're going to be eyeing to see, will Ice Cold be kicking out Ludicrouselius? And Ludicrouselius holding on to the edge. A loss here for Ice Cold would mean he can finally get up and join to have a chance of becoming a ProPokeBowl Season 5 champion. Arcanine, however, hey, we gotta talk about the adaptation here. Arcanine instead of the Togekiss, so still really wants that stack Attacka. I'm very surprised. It must be for Rock. It must be for the Rock and the Steel pressure it could put down. Protect is gonna come through with this Speed Boost Yanmega as the Flamethrower used for the Arcanine, so it is gonna be especially attacking one. Usually you see Flare Blitz, despite the fact that Arcanine will be defensive, so it could be carrying the Will-O-Wisp in the Morning Sun. This will be informational. People will be watching. Once again, another disconnect. No big deal. Seems to be the Ivan problem tonight, but that'll be perfectly fine. People will have time to come back in. I forgot to change the game number. No biggie. It's too exciting. I can't think of everything I have to do administratively. And I'm still looking for that administrative assistant. Could be carrying the Stone Edge. I think it might be the Ancient Power could be coming out. Usually Yanmega will be running something along the lines of Air Slash, Bug Buzz, and then coverage. HP Fire, generally, I believe, is the one chosen. Giga Drain can also be used. Ancient Power is also a choice. So it has a few options. The thing that really ruins the Yanmega, and especially has to be careful about in this game, if Rocks get set up, he could just be actually bringing the... he went for Hypnosis! He's roasted! He's got the Focus Sash, and Burn would be quickly here. No burn. That's a Life Orb Arcanine, so it's an aggressive Arcanine, and that's more aggression added mass behind what can be a defensive Pokemon. This thing seems to be able to go half and half for Manchester Magic. That's a good thing. If Stack Attack had got the rocks up even before all this damage happened, then it would make it really problematic because then you have Extreme Speed, both potentially on Arcanine and Zygarde 10%, so this thing would be dooming it. But the Hypnosis, which is a strat that's generally used, I believe, I don't know if you actually run Protect with Hypnosis on Yanmega. I think it's a bit of a redundancy. He does have +2 speed, but running Protect and Hypnosis is super, super risky. The risky thing, or the really cool thing about Hypnosis on the Yanmega, you get free attacks off without having to waste a turn to go for Protect to get your speed up. You could potentially get upwards to 2 to 3 speed boosts off, depending on whether or not people have to stay in, and then you get a really good setup there. He does hit the no Hypnosis there, and yes, he's got the speed, but I think it's too little too late. He brought his Yanmega down, but luckily for him, there's no Life Orb recoil, so he can go for some damage here. Heatran is going to make its way in, as Arcanine decides to stay in, so now Heatran can go for the rocks. Chip damage is great, and actually, I think with taking out Togekiss, hazards will stay. So Zygarde will be coming in to say, hello, remember us? As Earth Power is actually fired out instead, just wants to get the damage down, but we saw 1,000 Arrows one-shot. He doesn't need to go for Tectonic Rage. He knows he needs to keep Tectonic Rage, though, for that Crabominable or the Mega Slowbro. So if we see him use it early, that's actually a big momentum swing for Ice Cold, considering that despite the fact that a Pokemon will most likely die, it'll still be a Z Crystal wasted, which means now he knows he has a bulky Mega Slowbro or Crabominable that won't be taken out by 1,000 Arrow from stock Zygarde 10. Now keep in mind, chat, we saw what happened last time. Trick Room came up, Crabominable still felt phenomenal, has the coverage to wreck most of Manchester Manectric. Still want to see the Alomomola. Now, the only thing that I can think about with Alomomola not being brought is he just doesn't want a free Trick Room setup, which is respectable. At the same time, you could argue the Regenerator mixed with the likes of, oh my, he went straight for the Lava Plume. That's a 30% chance. Could roast the Spider, and it's gone. That is an easy kill. Another roasting from an ice-cold team. That's going to help a lot because it just means there's not one more shot being fired off on the Heatran. But yes, Zygarde 10%, once again threatens. He's actually just going to let Heatran die here. Says it's done enough. Interesting choice, but he wants the Yanmega in. It can go for the Protect and try and outspeed the Zygarde 10%. I think it might actually outspeed right away. No, it doesn't. This thing is really fast. So you can go for the Protect, get the +1. But here's the other scary thing, too. If Manchester Manectric switches, he can go for Protect after the switch, and even if the Protect fails, he will get +2 speed, which means he will be able to outspeed everything on the side of Manchester Manectric, which means you may have to go into and start tanking hits with the Arcanine to have to try and manage, because Bug Buzz does a lot outside of Nidoqueen. Now, the other thing is, if you get flinches with Air Slash against Nidoqueen, you're going to be feeling really pretty. Having said that, Nidoqueen having that Assault Vest should be able to tank up the Bug Buzz no problem, so it should be able to switch in pretty easily. And then Air Slash becomes the 30% RNG Fest. If there's anything to tell about what RNG we saw in the last match, I don't know if Ice Cold wants to take those risks. You could say, screw it, I'm going to try and make amends with an ungodly power that I can't control. Or he could just switch into something sensible. The interesting thing about Comfey, though, is it's not going to help him against the Nidoqueen. It's not going to really help him. It could help against, I guess, Draining Kiss is priority because it's a healing move. So with its triage ability, Draining Kiss will have priority against the Zygarde 10%, so that will help manage it. But with that switch, Nidoqueen can handle it, and Arcanine can also handle it by tanking it once it's awake. So we actually don't see a reconnect here from Manchester Man yet. 3 minutes left on his clock. Of course, we cannot redo the match as the match has gone too far in. Last week it was a timeout. This week we don't want to see a disconnect loss. He does end up coming back. You can tell by the avatar changing nonstop. That's when he's in. When he's Lance, he's in. When he's out, he's just some generic trainer we're trying to beat on the lap. Dragon Dance actually happens. Oh, this is ballsy. He can't live. That's a big toss of momentum because that's an aggressive Pokemon he needed. Because yes, he kills off the Heatran, but did he must have expected the Protect, but with that +1, he just knew. I guess Anish just said, screw it, we can take that risk. He doesn't get the flinch, but the Yanmega has done enough here, because with that prediction, Ice Cold out-mind games him. And now we're down to a 4v4 situation. That's helping him feel really good with Crabominable, because now there's no Tectonic Rage to deal with bazillion amounts of damage to it. Good read from Ice Cold. He also knows that he won't die from any move used by Nidoqueen, so this comes in and goes for free, potentially Bulk Up, or just an Ice Hammer to try and take things down. He has a Life Orb, so Bulk Up is a potential on his moveset. And then the question is, who comes in to manage that? Because this thing's pretty high. If he actually goes for Bulk Up, I don't think stock Superpower from Mega Absol can do it. And now you also have Manchester Man having to say, hey, I gotta switch into my sleeping Arcanine, and that could be a free setup, and Ice Cold may have done it. He may have just found a really excellent twisting point here, where, yeah, he's stuck between this. It is not Hyper Voice, it is Iron Fist. Ice Hammer comes through. That looks like a little bit more of an offensive Arcanine, because that took a lot more damage than I thought it would, as generally when we see a physically defensive Arcanine come through. That was -1 attack. So imagine what that would hurt like without it, but that could mean that, Close Combat could take it out, but the instant Wake Up doesn't risk it, and Toxic does come out. That's kind of unfortunate for Ice Cold, but Manchester Manectric making the safe call to say, I'm going into this, but it is going to cripple and put a timer on that Mega Slowbro. Now, here's the other thing. With these disconnects, the timer for disconnecting is wearing down, so he only has 140 seconds to make sure his Wi-Fi stays up. What is going to be the win condition here? If Trick Room gets set up, Crabominable will feel safe and ready to go because Arcanine's been brought down. Close Combat will take it out, and everything else gets smashed. So, this could be the time we see it happen. The Morning Sun, that could have been mega risky, because if Trick Room is set there, whatever, you switch to the Combat, you switch to whatever, you get Crabominable in safely, you destroy everything. Mega comes in, Morning Sun happens. Does he get a special attack boost? The answer is huge Mega damage coming in. That might actually bring him into range where a Scald will kill him off. The hidden power, potentially Grass coming in, is going to happen. It's going to be an exchange, but this is a very good exchange from Manchester Manectric. Prevents the Trick Room from coming out. Comfey, however, is a Trick Room setter, and it could be a game setter for him if Ice Cold finds the way in. But if Nidoqueen comes in, you're going to have to find your way. But that means Ferrothorn could predict that Nidoqueen coming in. Got to watch for the Fighting Thorn, but I think he has Protect on that Ferrothorn, so can check. Oh, this is going to depend on what comes in. The Nidoqueen makes the most sense. The Comfey comes in. It might just say, screw it, my life for the crab, and it'll be a Hawaii setup for him. Inish wants to go on vacation. He wants to go to the playoffs. He doesn't live the Sludge Wave, though. He had to try and go for it. Now it's Crab against everything else. He can go for the Super Power. He can go for the Ice Hammer. He can try and smash everything as much as he can before he takes too much damage and taken down. Stack Attacker will be outsped outside of Trick Room. This could be Inish saying, hey, I could do damage. The damage comes through. It's not enough. Close Combat's used, though. Inish predicts the switch, and it doesn't happen. If he had gone for Ice Hammer, it would hit everything for neutral. And now that the Queen outspeeds, and Ferrothorn can't fight everything unless it can. But the Ferrothorn still be switched. It says not completely done for us. The Earth Power gets the crit. Don't put him on a bigger time limit than he needs to be. And that crit might actually mean that anything with Leech Seed, anything with being able to tank the damage, he can get the kill on the Nidoqueen, but he's too low to take it. And in a turn of events, no Trick Room, no problem, says Manchester Manectric. And this could very well be, not the end yet, but this could very well be the Ice Cold being eliminated from ProPokeBowl Season 5. The Crab has to do it. Can it do it? Not against the speed, not with that HP. Yeah, Stack Attack is down, but Absol, the favorite Pokemon, the Life Orb, it does not matter. The 2-0 goes to Manchester Manectric, and Ivan Valdez 11 has eliminated Initiator in his first season. And if you look at that game and you say, Ivan was in control, I would tell you, even I would tell you, you gotta open your eyes. That was an ice-cold series. Ice-cold favor series. And that game won. All he needed was that Ice Hammer miss. And that's gonna be the big talk for, I think, the remainder of Season 5. That one single miss is just going to cost him the entire series. Unfortunately, that does, however, put Ivan Valdez of Manchester Manectric back in third place. A very solid finish. Remember, most expected finish, I think. We had said, actually, he would have been lower. I actually had placed Ice Cold above, and You know, I think just from our power ranks between myself and Amagama, we both pretty much said that we think Anish had the team to at least beat Ivan, and the win conditions were there. You saw how they both tried to execute the best they could. At the end of the day, it's just going to be the will of the Aran gods, because that's going to be it, which means we will be able to make sure we're going to we will be able to determine the playoff seedings for tonight. But first things first, ladies and gentlemen, we need to see between the featured matchup between the Fortnite Ninjas and Traverse City Thunderers. After the break, the battle for first place. You can bet your Nubis by doing !bet, and then the space, choose the option that you'll see prompted on your BRB screen, and then another space, and using the ID of which way you think that's going to go. Keep in mind, as long as Fortnite Ninjas win at least one game, he holds first place. It is up to Shark King to take both matches after the break. See you soon. Welcome back to the ProPokeBowl Season 5, Week 10, to our final, the absolute final match of the regular season. Do not cry, we still have the playoffs, but the absolute final match. And it happens to be the most hype match between first and second place, the Fortnite Ninjas coach Mitchie W in first place, and second place, Traverse City Thunderous coach Sharking. This is the feature matchup of the night. You guys have a couple more minutes to get your bets in, exclamation bet, as well as the ID, or a space with the ID and how many new bets you want to bet. This one is going to be exciting because we had a big change-up in Week 10 for both of these coaches. First of all, the ban of Mamoswine, which we wanted to see for a very long time, because I've already told you that Mamoswine was big. We didn't actually say it because we have Bulu and Latias and all this stuff to worry about. But Mamoswine has been banned tonight for the Fortnite Ninjas. And for Traverse City Thunderous, they have lost their Gyarados. Now, this would have been all fine and dandy and said, well, with Mamoswine gone, it's going to be interesting to see what's going to be happening. But both coaches have made a change. You might see on that list there, ladies and gentlemen, the Salamence. The Salamence has been traded in, formerly on Sarasota Suicune's team, put back into the draft. But Salamence was traded in for the Volcarona. Volcarona, an 87% win rate. 8 games used, 7 games won. Has been traded out for the Salamence. Clearly a pick that Sharking has identified as a way for him to win, particularly maybe in this week, or just win in general. But he has pinned it as one of his important Pokemon. But that's not all. The Fortnite Ninjas has also bought us a new teammate, trading with the Golden State Greninjas. Bulu has gone to the Golden State Greninjas, and Venusaur has now joined Fortnite. We have a giant weed weapon of sorts in this game now. This is interesting. Bulu was only used twice. We saw a lot more things being used. The Mega Latias making its appearance back then. Bulu was banned 3 times, so it makes sense that this would be a Pokemon. Not only that, but he didn't need it much, right? We talk about the Conkeldurr, we talk about the Gengar quite a bit, cleaning it up. His defensive core, the ability to be able to switch between the likes of the Fortress and the Rotom Heat has shown pretty well, and I think Venusaur just adds more defensive tactics to his team, but also just gives a giant Pokemon that can take hits and deliver them back. So this is actually not too bad, I think, for Fortnite Ninjas. This might actually be an upgrade, considering the way that he's been building his team, and you haven't seen him collapse once he lost Bulu because the rest of his team is so well designed. And then we go over to the Traverse City Thunderous side, and we look and go, well, I mean, in the end, my goodness, the amount of power that's already there, he's trading up one powerhouse for another, and it's kind of weird because Volcarona was a special sweeper of sorts, so he brings in another physical sweeper, but we have to think about mixed Salamence is the thing. The Salamence does not have to be DD. It could be choice specs, it could be choice bandit, it could be a mixed attack with Life Orb. It has a lot of great Z crystal power that can be used because its moveset is so huge that it can use multiple offensive strategies on multiple fronts, plus a base 100 speed, still complements the rest of his team, considering Volcarona was also base 100. So, there's a lot of great things here that can happen. And, we'll have to see what the match comes out. Having said that, though, I am very afraid for Fortnite Ninjas with the loss of Mamoswine. This Salamence has very little answers without having a bunch of Scarf Pokemon take it on. He still has faster Pokemon, we gotta get a lot of damage down. Tapu Fini, by the way, which we haven't seen, we've seen it used already on Traverse City Thunderous. Fini plus Salamence plus Alolan Muck runs through Fortnite. So Quagsire might have to be the bust here. I'm seeing very little answers to especially the Alolan Muck, when you would have expected that Mamoswine could have come in and started Rocket's World. But I think Quagsire is going to be an important Pokemon here. We'll have to see what Mitchie brings, because there's a lot of things he has to worry about. Slowking can be used for tanking up a bunch of hits, having the Regenerator and phasing quite a bit. But just based on what I wrote in my notes here, there's a lot more to toot here for Traverse City Thunderous than there is for Fortnite Ninjas. This might be not the only coach. This might be the second coach to take down Mitchie, because we already saw Lunar Cresselia is now in the playoffs, is going to be the only coach to take a single game off of Mitchie so far. And in the last week, it's up to Sharky to take not 1 but 2 games off of him in a single series to be able to take first place and have choice of which side he goes on to the bracket, which, by the way, like I mentioned, will be happening tonight. So we'll be taking, after this entire series of 2, we'll be taking a 10-minute break. I'm going to be looking at the fantasy draft. I'm also going to be preparing the names for the drafts. We're going to be preparing the bracket. We're going to give you all of the explanation to everything that you need to know going into the playoffs, both as a viewer and as a coach. You will be receiving emails as well, coaches, but, putting it on record here is going to be the easiest thing. So please, if you are in the playoffs, stick around after these matches because you are needed to have to understand, especially if you're Mitchie or Sharking. If you get first place, we need to know where you are and need to know where you're drawn into. But I think it's time, ladies and gentlemen. I think it is time. The coaches are on the scene. I think this is going to be one of the greatest matchups. And we could have called it from the beginning where it would have been one of the greatest matchups. But to see the sheer impact that it has now, where we're looking at a situation where it's needed, right? It's not just this is a preview for the semis or the finals, or a preview of the potential finals that we would expect. This is literally on the line for Mitchie and Sharking to have enormous control going into playoffs. And it couldn't be at any better place. It's not just climbing your way in. It's climbing yourselves to the top, asserting authority, a former Season 4 champion up against the runner-up who helped the Stock-Powered Sky Sharks in Season 4 through the playoffs. A 3-0, by the way, I believe, for Mitchie. Can we see a repeat from Mitchie, or will we get ourselves into a very interesting situation? Join me in the final match, second last match, the final series between Traverse City Thunderous on the close side, Fortnite Ninjas on the far side. That's the Quag, that's the Feeny, that's the Salamence, that's the Alolan Muck. All the Pokemon check. The Rotom Heat here, the Conkeldurr. The whole party's here, ladies and gentlemen. Everything we wanted to see. This is a true matchup to be seen for the end of the regular season. Your bets are complete. Let's take a look at those who did bet. Interesting decisions. We'll have to see how it plays out as the Conkeldurr leads off against the Alolan Muck. Now, like we said, we need to see damage on this Alolan Muck because there's a lot of little answers. When it gets free hits, it can tank a lot of hits back. Conkeldurr being one of those such Pokemon that can take a hit and then heal it back up with the Drain Punch. At the very least, even without the burn, he'll still be doing just a little bit more. Right on time, ProPokeBowl. Well played. What will we see come out of both these coaches? What are the win conditions? I mean, Feeny just feels like we talked a lot about the defensive Pokemon. We didn't really talk about the actual sweeping potential. Because that Salamence looks like it has to be the sweeper. It could be a Combine Tapu Feeny. Aggron can also bring a lot of power, and you just have a little bit of chip damage here between the hail that the Alolan Ninetales can bring, plus the Alolan Raichu. But the Feeny is going to come in, but the Poison Jab! Excellent prediction from Fortnite. Turn 1, asserting authority, punching this Tapu in the face, saying, I got rid of mine, I'm going to make sure I'm going to get rid of yours as fast as I can too. That's a great start for Fortnite, getting a lot of damage down this, but he can't risk the Moonblast. The Venusaur has to come in, the Nature's Madness is revealed, and that's going to cut Venusaur in half, but you have to be worried because Sludge Bomb will destroy Tapu Fini. Not going to be worth any amount of damage here because Fini just does a lot. You have to take a look at the Pokemon. There's a lot of Poison-type users on the side of Fortnite, and that means Latias will have a better time the more that thing's taken down. Leech Seed will be used, a safe option here as the Aggron comes in. Most likely the Mega, as you cannot run Mega Salamence. It is banned. It is an Uber, so it cannot be run. Shout out to that one season where Mega Metagross was assumed to be able to be used, but it's not happening. Either way, Aggron can deliver a lot of damage. I don't expect Mega Venusaur to want to stay in here unless he knows that he can take less than 50% from a heavy slam, or if he thinks it's not a Mega and has to worry about choice banded Head Smash. Because losing Venusaur, losing any of these defensive walls, could be worth it taking down the Aggron, but I think you have to worry more about offensive side here for Traverse City Thunderous than the defensive side. Feeny plus Muck is going to be annoying no matter what. And then, losing a wall here to try and manage those could be disastrous. But as long as Gengar's not touched, he should still be safe. Conkeldurr's also not touched. Here comes the Stealth Rock as the Mega is used. Is going to take a little bit more chip damage in exchange to get those hazards out. Defog could be run on that Latias. We don't know exactly what he's going to be running. But nonetheless, he will have to switch here. He cannot take the Drain Punch, which will mean, actually, did we see this thing stay in and not? Yeah, we didn't actually see it get a Flame Orb boost. He's running something different on his Conkeldurr this time. Interesting. We've seen Flame Orb all the way up to this point, so we'll have to see what different item he's planted onto his Conkeldurr. No Life Orb, nothing like that, so... Could be leftovers. Could definitely just be leftovers, try and keep him alive as long as possible, knowing he has to trade a lot more. Not too sure. Either way, Fortnite already ticking down a little bit of their time, but the Feeny has to come back in. The Drain Punch is going to be used for safety. Generally, making one prediction at a time is pretty good, and then play standard after that. Oh, never mind. It is. Oh, he can't be burned because Misty Terrain. I figured it out. That was actually well played by Thunderous and well played by Fortnite knowing that would happen, but now he also knows he can't get the Misty Tramp, which means the burn happens, and now he's going to switch to his little Ninetales double switch. That's going to be a one-shot. Nice critical hit. Take it down. The only thing left to his name is the Hail. Don't think that mattered much, though. Little Ninetales not your bulkiest Pokemon on the OU ladder, and it's just going to be taken down. A good advantage here, 6-5 already, Fortnite Ninjas. The Little Raichu will come in, does threaten with the Silver Surfer attack, whatever the heck it's called. The Latias can take up both stabs you might see coming out of this. The Psychic just used. Safe plays. Don't need to go anywhere crazy yet. Yes, you lost a Pokemon. Yes, you'll get the chip damage here and there, but you don't need to be going out using any of the Z-Crystals. Don't need to be going out and revealing too much. Play it standard. Find your win condition. That's generally the way you're going to make it through to the top here. Just knowing when to execute and bringing out your walls when you need to, taking the calculated risks. You don't need to make even a bad prediction there with the Poison Jab turn 1 for the Fortnite Ninjas would not have cost him anything, because the only thing that it makes sense is if Shark King of the Traverse City Thunders wanted to stop the Flame Orb, then he wins. If he didn't want to stop it, he gets the Flame Orb. So it's a win-win situation for him either way, but the Quagsire's going to come in on the Alolan Muck. This is what we wanted. Quagsire says hello to Alolan Muck, and Alolan Muck says, I'm out of here. You can put me back in the sewers. I can't manage this. But Fortnite Ninjas, down to 180 seconds. Traverse City Thunder is finally falling into that 270 seconds. But Tapu Fini's going to have to now come in. It's going to be a lot of damage. It's going to have to tank a little bit of damage from Earthquake, plus the Hail, though, neutralizing its leftovers. So this is not too bad for Quagsire. Yes, you can go for Nature's Madness, and that might be the best option here for Traverse City. Don't want to set up knowing that this thing can just stay in here and just give you a bunch of damage. The Venusaur has to make its way back in. Just another cut here in Venusaur's HP. This thing is being managed. But the nice thing is, this thing is being managed, which means now pretty much anything can come in and finish it off. The Alolan Muck will make its way in. The Synthesis does come through. Leech Seed plus Synthesis is going to keep this thing super bulky. He ends up going for the Gunk Shot. Not doing a heck of a lot, though, as that's actually going to be a decent amount. Yes, you can get the damage down on this, but you can't be outsped and have him synthesizing too much, as he will be able to go for it as the Alolan Raichu does come in. We might see a Z-move come out now. We might see him try to go for a huge Psychic attack to try and dent something, but because the Latias is safe, might just see the Volt Switch come out here, just to see what Fortnite wants to play around. Did I reset the score? I did not. Aha! There we go. Oh, this is exciting. We're already in. Only one Pokemon has fallen. It was the Alolan Ninetales. The Hail is gone, and that's going to be basically the state. 6v5, but I don't think the Alolan Ninetales would have been the huge win. Yes, it would have been great to use against the Mega Venusaur, despite the fact that we have the Blizzard. But the one thing that you could remember that Alolan Ninetales get that could be great against that Quagsire is Freeze Dry. That would have been ×4 super effective and would have basically destroyed it. So losing that would have been a big deal for Fortnite, because that was a defensive wall that stops a lot of extra damage coming through. Feeny doesn't get in there for free. A little Muck doesn't get anything too much for free, but I think the Venusaur is going to be a great choice here to keep him alive. And it will test the theory. Will we see Flyinium Z Salamence? Is that the answer that Shark King wants to try and sweep him out? Because if it's Z-Crystal, that means you lose Life Orb pressure, which means that's a lot of damage that's not just there at base. He will have to set up if he wants to sweep. But until we see what that Salamence is carrying, we don't know how he exactly wants to win this via damage. It's a fair amount of damage. He could predict the Roost to come out here, but again, Alolan Raichu doesn't get much to kill us off. Doesn't get Ice Beam, doesn't get anything super effective that could kill off the Latias. So you might just see a Volt Switch or another Psychic, but I think it's just going to be Volt Switch here as... I mean, really, he tanks it up, but if he's expecting this to be Scarf, which it might actually be, or I don't think it's Specs unless we're really missing a damage calc here. Roost just makes the most sense. He can keep healthy, and I think this is the way that Fortnite has to win it. They just have to continue to stall out and get damage down. I think the Alolan Ninetales was supposed to handle that Quagsire and then the chip to kind of mitigate the healing, but I think the damage actually worked more in Fortnite's favor. These are our top two battlers in the tournament, mind you. First versus second place. Looking to grab first place tonight. The Ice Beam is going to fly out. Good critical hit. And the freeze! That is Ice Cold Steel now. And that's going to be a big deal if he doesn't thaw, because that is a Pokemon that could have wrecked a lot of things. And that's a 10% that you do want to see if you are a Mitchie fan. That's a big deal, though. If he doesn't thaw out, this could be a lot of setup that could happen for Fortnite. It's not the biggest deal because it is on the Aggron, but the Aggron could deliver a lot of damage. As now Conkeldurr has to come in. The double switch got to come in with Alolan Muck. It doesn't care, though, because you can give this thing as much gunk shots as you want in the face. It's going to punch you with a giant Cinder Block, and you're not going to be feeling great afterwards. Cinder Block, that's a Cinder Pillar. Mega Aggron will have to come back in. The Drain Punch is going to be used. It is going to be brought really low. It is going to get a lot of healing back, though, as all that burn damage has been healed off. And it might just have to be the sack of the Mega Aggron. Never mind, the thaw happens. He's going to be able to go for a little bit of an Earthquake, but it's not a lot as the bulk up happens, too. And that's a bit of a setup that Fortnite can get behind. Mach Punch will take it down, doesn't want to take more damage, just wants to say the only damage I'm taking this turn is my self-inflicted burns. As the Alolan Raichu has to come in to answer it. I don't think we'll see this thing stay in. It still has a fair amount of damage, or still has a decent chance to trade against the Alolan Ruck, and has obviously super effective damage, and plus priority for the future. If he does end up sacking it off, I didn't think so. The Latias is going to keep getting sent in here to answer, and it might just be a sack here of the Latias to try and get something maybe along the lines of... maybe switch in. Gengar's not faster than it. Oh, it's a speed tie, actually. Unless the Gengar is also Scarf, maybe he expects this thing to be... I don't know, we have to check the damage calcs, because the way he's playing it, it seems like it's choice. The Healing Wish, though. Ooh, okay. So he actually lets the Healing Wish go through, which means if he had killed that off, he wouldn't have anybody coming in healed for free. The Conkeldurr is going to get fully healed, but I think it still gets the Flame... No, it doesn't get it until next turn. But it still feels safe because it's got all of its HP to handle the Alolan Muck. The knockoff comes in, though. Is this the one he wanted? That's the damage he wanted, that's for sure. Doesn't care if he's not burned. That means he got the damage on the Alolan Muck, and that's the trade he needs. Because at this point... it just feels really good for him. Now Tapu Fini can come in. The Poison Jab comes out. He knows he loses nothing from it. This is Sharking getting outplayed right now. As he knows, even with that Poison Jab, it doesn't matter much because the trading is still going to be in favor of Conkeldurr. And that's the time you switch up the moves. That's the time you make these plays happen. That's Fortnite looking to defend his first place. Because now you've got two Pokemon that we knew that were going to be hard to handle, suddenly handled. And then you start to question, how much has he actually lost here? Fortnite is down to 60 seconds. They do have to make a play. They don't want to get into that World Leader situation. Sorry, World Leader. I had to bring it up, but it could happen again. A timeout would be tragic. Same thing happened before. 20 seconds actually means 0 in this game. Nature's Madness will come out. He's just sacking it, but the Drain Punch will give... Oh, barely living. If there's a Moonblast on Fini, he has to be careful. Because that would just be... Oh, wait, never mind. He's got Mach Punch. It's going to take it out. No big deal. So that is going to be a decent HP amount to be at. Alolan Raichu does not care about that, though. It just means mainly if the Alolan Muck had to face this thing down face to face. But this is Sharking 3-5 now. Fortnite looking to defend it. And even remember what we said, Fortnite wins one match. He wins first place. Game 2 will not matter. They'll still play it out for the purposes of scouting, for the purposes of seeing what it would have ended up being, and for your betting, ladies and gentlemen. Review that bet. You're looking for your results to happen. But he's got the manage. He's down to 30 seconds. Fortnite needs to make decisions quickly. This is the time again where you have to start spamming moves to collect your time. If he times out, it'll be the worst thing for him. And that's the best bet you're going to be trying to get from Traverse City Thunders at this point. He is going to be able to kill off the Conkeldurr. Says, I don't need priority. I've got a giant ghost to finish all of this off. Although we don't know what that Salamence is yet. The Rotom Heat will finally make its appearance. Could be Scarf just try and overheat this thing. Overheat's going to hurt anything at this point. Even the Salamence, it'll be worth the damage. But Alolan Muck will get roasted, Alolan Raichu will get roasted, and a Z-move is going to be used, and that's Shattered Psyche says, goodbye, Rotom. 30 seconds left, the timer is down to 3-3, the Alolan Raichu looking to clean up, it is a Z-move, it is going to outspeed, and that also was not scarfed on the Rotom Heat. 20 seconds, 15 seconds, Fortnite running out of time here, they need to make the play, 25 seconds on the clock, and now the Gengar's going to come in, this is going to be a speed tie if this is not a Scarf Gengar, it's not going to win the speed tie, it's taken down, the Curse Body does go onto the Psychic. That's a big deal because now that means Mega Venusaur feels a little bit safer to come in and heal. Might be able to tank up a lot of the hits. 30 seconds on the clock for Fortnite. But this, oh, that's a big change. That's a 30% chance for Curse Body to disable the move that was last used on Gengar. Loses Levitate, but will get the value here. Now Alolan Muck has to come in. The healing is going to come through. There's no more damage from the Stealth Rock sticking on the Giant Weed. And that's something, this is just hacks upon hacks that Traverse City Thunders does not want to see. We don't want this to happen again tonight. I can only handle one soul-shattering defeat at a time. We need more just abuse. He's only at 10 seconds, though. He needs to make a play really quickly. He's up to 20 seconds. He is just going to quick synthesis. Makes the most sense. He can take up a lot of the hits. I think Alolan Muck is just getting sacked here. He knows he needs to come in healthily, not taking any damage. Clicks the move. The synthesis happens. The gunk shot's going to happen. That's going to be a decent amount of damage sticking to it, because now he knows Alolan Raichu can come back in. That might mean Salamence might have something up the sleeve to handle the Quagsire. It's at a decent amount, though, of HP. If he can go for the Ice Beam, we've seen this before when he went up against Sarasota Suicunes, where the Quagsire was trying his best to stop that Salamence. We could see a repeat as Quagsire is now coming in. How much damage is it going to take? It doesn't matter. The Grass Knot comes through, and Shark King is one game closer to taking first place. I would have never called an Alolan Raichu sweep, but I am also one meek 1200 ELO OU player. And there's a lot of hacks that went through, but now we get to that situation. This is the situation, if you are a Traverse City Thunderous fan, you wanted to be in. We are now at officially an actual match point that matters. Because if Traverse City Thunderous wins this next game, they take first place and control of which side of the bracket they go on in the playoffs. If Fortnite Ninjas take game 2, they will barely rob Traverse City Thunderous by one single deciding match in their series, which would mean that we would have one heck of a finals. Now, here's the thing. This can't really be used as much to determine what the finals are going to look like, because for those, we'll explain the playoffs format later, but keep in mind that whatever they build for the semifinals, they have to bring to the finals. So yes, these matches might look like they are prepared for each other because they can be, but in the playoffs, they're not going to be able to bring as many, like, this coach-specific sets unless they know they can win with those sets against their semifinalist opponents. Considering that we're talking about first and second place, we could just talk about semifinals and beyond here. So they have to bring the same movesets to both semis and finals. So what they have to bring for the semis, that's going to depend. Again, first place, you want to be in that position where you can know that you can win with the sets in both the semis and the finals, so you can prepare for what you predict to be the finalist that you're going to be going against. You want to be in that position. You don't want to be second place. Second place is great because you get a lot of scouting right away, and you get to see at least who you're going to be playing against and start preparing. Yes, the movesets change between elimination rounds and semifinals now, but that just means, in my opinion, you want to be on that side where you choose what is my better matchup. If I'm Mitchie W, I want to be against that I Am Groot. I want to crush that I Am Groot if he goes to the semifinals. If you're on the side of the Fortnite Ninjas, he knows he can crush Manchester Manectric. You want to be on that side. That means you want to win that most favorable matchup to try and get there if those people go on. It's a big deal. This is a very, very big deal, and this match is going to be intense. But let's take a look at what happened in that match really quickly before we get into game number 2. Essentially, we saw that Mitchie is just saying, yeah, I don't have an official answer to that Alolan Muck, but if I punch it nonstop, it's not going to matter. And that's what he did. He used the Conkeldurr, he played around the Tapu Fini and the Alolan Muck very well, playing in and out of that Misty Terrain being used nonstop. Very good mind games coming in. Shark King losing that one Pokemon that can take out the Quagsire, but recognizes the Alolan Raichu just has the coverage and the speed to finish off everything once it's brought down low. You get the freeze, and then you get the Curse Body, but then you get high rolls, you get the damage coming through. That's going to take things out, and it's just... It's such an incredible thing to watch, because despite the fact there's RNG in there, we are working through it and we are seeing plays coming out from both coaches. Don't know what we can ask more for, because it's Pokemon. It's the best we can ask for. It's the way it's gonna go. And I think the only way to end this now is to watch the final match between these two. Will it be Traverse City Thunderous taking first place in the last week, or will it be Fortnite Ninjas being the undisputed first seed? in that one. Undisputed first seed in the ProPokeBowl Season 5. I need the best music we can find here. That's a good one. Let's go. Game number 2. Traverse City Thunderous on your close side. Fortnite Ninjas on the far side. Second v first. The last match of the regular season. Let's get some hype in chat here, ladies and gentlemen. This is the end. This is the beginning of the end. Playoffs are soon. Let's go. What are we going to see come out from these two? We do see an Alolan Raichu lead versus the Gigalith. By the way, Gigalith coming in. With that Sandstream, not only will he be able to fight the hail that could be set up from Alolan Ninetales, it'll give him a special defense boost he doesn't want to deal with. Feeny comes in as the rocks are set up. This is a big deal, actually, because now they're a little bit of a weather war, as well as now he has a tankier Pokemon on that special side to manage the likes of Alolan Raichu. So Venusaur has to have to come in. Defog is just going to be used here. We're going to see an Alolan Ninetales switch in, change up the weather as the Omega is going to come in. Leech Seed is used. So feeling safe. If we do see an Aurora Veil used here, I think it would have to be, Gigalith. You have to watch for the Gigalith because it will shut down Aurora Veil. Aurora Veil is a Reflect and a Light Screen both in one, but it has to be used in Hail, which makes Alolan Ninetales stupid that it gets Snow Warning. So you have to take out Gigalith before you can take that risk and try and give yourself that 5 to 8 turns of protection. I think it was actually... did we see Light Clay? I didn't count how many turns Hail stayed up last time. Pretty sure it'll be Light Clay. You don't usually run Icy Rock on the likes of Alolan Ninetales. Nonetheless, Aggron, not frozen, comes back in, will Mega, battle the Megas. The Leech Seed will come in as the Earthquake comes through. Just trying to get any damage here. I guess he's trying to check to see how much damage he can try and register, but it's going to be a big deal because Mega Venusaur can still tank out a lot as long as it's not getting wrecked by Alolan Raichu. So it can tank all the hits. Actually, you know what? The funny thing is, we need to see what Salamence has. That's kind of terrifying for Fortnite because he knows that he can take this with a little bit more luck and less things going against him. So if he doesn't know what that Salamence carries, it could be kind of a disaster here. But we can see a lot of damage taken off from the Mega Aggron, which makes Fortnite feel a little bit more comfortable. This giant Titanic wall that could sit and flatten on everybody is already taken below half, and there's no way of passing off healing. Leech Seed is used knowing that the switch is going to come out well played, and also Hail not set up at the right time, so this is most likely a Light Clay Alolan Ninetales. By the way, shout out to that new information about the new form in Sword and Shield. Won't mention it because I don't want to give too much out on stream. But right now, we do have to be worried because Blizzard can still hit outside of Hail. Even though it's not accurate, Freeze Dry could be the reason why he's bringing this out. It's not going to do a lot of damage because of Thick Fat, but he's going to make that double switch back into Aggron. Yeah, just spam Leech Seed. He loses nothing by just spamming Leech Seed. So Mitchie, playing the safest strat, doesn't lose anything if it doesn't happen, loses a lot, or actually loses next to nothing if it does work out. And lo and behold, the crit turns around. Fortnite takes down the Aggron one turn sooner than expected, which means no fodder here. And we're back in this 6v5 situation, except I would argue he needs that Alolan, or that Mega Aggron a lot more. Psychic will be flying out. That's the power of the Sandstream, buffing up the special defense on the Rock Pokemon. Feeny will be coming in. As Gigalith mostly just going to go for the offense. It does, goes for the Stone Edge. Doesn't get a lot of damage out, but it's still decent. You have the chip damage mitigating negating all of that leftover healing. More damage is better. That's what Fortnite needs. He needs that sweep in the end with the with the Conkeldurr mixed with the Gengar. We know it to be true. Nature's Magic is going to be used. Again, this thing could just go for Synthesis. However, because it's in the sand, Synthesis will be lessened. So that is something to keep in mind. I'm pretty sure that's still a mechanic. Alolan Raichu is going to make its way out as the Leech Seed is going to be used. Still gets an okay amount of healing, but it can't stay in here. This is good pressure from Traverse City Thunderous, keeping the Mega Venusaur from staying healthy, as now the Gigalith has to once again come in on the rocks. On a nasty plot of Alolan Raichu. Now, there is no sand, which means +2 will start hurting a lot more. And without that Latias, we have less Pokemon here that can take these hits. This could just be the setup and win, because if nothing lives, Leech Seed's not going to tank it away. You might not get it low enough to be able to kill it off with a Mach Punch from Conkeldurr. Welcome in, Yoshi Koopa. It's time for the Gengar. I think this is the only thing he has left to manage it. The Muck is going to make the switch, though. He doesn't want to take that risk. He doesn't need to, because Shadow Ball is going to do nothing to Lil Muck. Nice special defense drop, but he doesn't need to win that speed tie, but he knows the Alolan Raichu actually has the win condition with that Gigalith handle. So Focus Blast will come in. That's a good hit on 70%, but it's going to be taken down. His Pursuit's actually going to be used just to keep it in. Well played by Fortnite to know that he would be trapped. He tries to keep some value. That's the best value you can hope for, hitting that 70% accurate move. But it's starting to be curtains, and this is starting to look like a Traverse City triumph at the end of the season, taking first place. Huge control. We have 3.5 Pokemon left on the side of Fortnite Ninjas, 5 good Pokemon on the side of Traverse City Thunderous. He wins the Weather War. He will reduce the healing of Synthesis, and this just could be it. If Freeze Dry is on this Pokemon, it's going to be good for Quagsire. The Blizzard does a decent amount of damage and will be enough to take down the Mega Venusaur, and this is starting to be the beginning of the end. Sharking finding that win condition, knowing that that Pokemon that was going to tank all the Psychic moves from the Alolan Raichu has been neutered, was traded out for the Gigalith. Gigalith being that answer, just didn't get the answer off in time. Now Aurora Veil set in. Nice defog, though, coming out from it, because that will defog the Aurora Veil. So not all done here for Fortnite, but he's got a lot of things to answer here. A lot of, well, not healthier per se, but a lot of Pokemon that have to still worry about that Alolan Raichu, because if that thing comes in safely, he's got a sweep he's got to worry about. And another speed tie loss with that Gengar. Oh, it's gone anyways, but it's Conkeldurr. It's Conkeldurr versus the World, dude. Come on, pay attention to the dead Pokemon. Right. Now, Gunk Shot will come in. That's a lot of damage without that +1 defense that he had in the last game. But he will get a tiny bit of healing back from that Drain Punch. The burn is set up. He can still go for some pretty powerful hits. 4v4. We can't ask for a closer match, but we know the win conditions are both starting to wean. They know they can get it at the right times, and the Pokemon behind them have to support. The Moon Blast will fly out on the... I was going to say Alolan Rotom. I don't know why. Rotom Heat will tank it, no problem. Volt Switch will come through. It's a decent amount of damage. But now that Feeney's in, could be expecting a Nature's Madness, most likely. So I think we'll just see Venusaur come in, tank up the Nature's Madness, and then most likely tank up any hits that a standard... Actually, I think we've seen all the moves on this, right? Have we? I don't think we've seen the fourth move yet. But if it is going to be Scald plus Moonblast, it does mean... what's it called? That Mega Venusaur come in. We actually see the Conkeldurr come in. Rotom Heat's gonna come back out, baiting out the Moonblast because he wants to be able to go for more... oh my god. Wants to go for more Volt Switches, but loses the special attack. That reduces a lot of damage he was gonna take from that. 28%, try 42% outside. Oh, actually, no, it would have been 33% loss. That would have been about 40% he would have taken from that Volt Switch, which actually means that it would have been brought into potential... Oh, it might have been brought into range to die to Mach Punch from Conkeldurr. But with that damage reduction, that might be enough healing from the leftovers to keep Tapu Fini alive after a Mach Punch. There's a lot of RNG tonight that's mattering. This kind of sucks. Now Fortnite needs to figure out, well, that was the damage calc I knew I needed to get. What do I switch into? Conk is just going to be sent back in as Moonblast is just going to take out Conk. And now it's down to the Fire, Water, Grass core of Fortnite Ninjas to handle a Salamence that hasn't even seen the light of day in the final week, the final match of the regular season. And I think this might just be curtains. I think we have a new first place sneaking up at the very end, keeping up close, and it's going to be like a NASCAR race where he's just going to take that one turn better and start making the push for victory. Now the Salamence does come in. A Sludge Bomb's going to be dropped. That's a good amount of damage. Does get the poison, so it's a 2-hit KO. If Salamence does not have a way to kill off the... Well, it's going to kill off the Venusaur, but it can't set up. He has to be worried. Quagsire has to come in. The Outrage is just used. That's a lot of damage going against Quagsire, and I think that's going to be it. That's too much damage for any Pokemon that wants to take it. There's no Scarf to take it. Pokemon just have to eat the Outrage. If it's a 3-turn Outrage, he is in heaven right now as one more hit comes out, and then the final 3 Pokemon will be able to finish it off. Ladies and gentlemen, you might be looking at a new first place at the end of the season, the final match, the 2-0 for Traverse City Thunderous. One more click. Yes, he's confused. He can risk it. He's got so many Pokemon to take this out. He hits himself. What a way to go. The synthesis will make sense, but it is 1 Mega versus 3 massive Pokemon. The Z Crystal to finish it off. And we've seen it before, and we'll see it again. Sharking with his own team will take out Mitchie W in 2-0 fashion and be your regular season first place seed. And if that doesn't make you question what the playoffs could look like, I don't know what will. Speed ties, RNG everywhere. But just in the favor of Traverse City tonight. If we have to do that close of a series in a semifinals or in a finals, because that's the only place they can meet right now, I can't wait. Because that literally means it could be 3 to 5 games of us looking at speed ties and crits and seeing who comes out on top. But that should not take away from the sheer amount of skill that came out of this, the surprise Salamence coming in to help out Traverse City Thunders, but more so just the building being in favor of Shark King, having the Pokemon that could beat Mitchie W. And because they only play once per season before playoffs, we had to wait for this and we had to see what would happen with the skill. And I think it was a valiant effort coming out from Fortnite. But in the end, that is going to be your new first seed. Let me just put in the scores. We'll show you the final scores for the end of the season. A big deal here for them. But by 1 point, ladies and gentlemen, everybody in the audience. What the heck happened there? Bam. Your first place. Your first seed going into the playoffs. Traverse City Thunderous, GG Mitchie, GG Shark King. But it will be Traverse City Thunderous, 26 points, 1 point above our second seed, the Fortnite Ninjas, our third seed, Manchester Manetric, our fourth seed, I Am Groot, our fifth seed, for the first time in his career in the ProPokeBowl, will be Golden State Greninjas. Congratulations, world leader. You finally made it in. You're not a 7th place bench warmer. You have made it in, and 6th seed in his first ProPokeBowl ever will be Lunar Cresselia. Congratulations to these 6 coaches. I'm going to need to take a break to eat something to get the seedings ready to go. And after the break, we will be discussing the playoffs, how they'll be going, and then I'll be explaining to both. Actually, we'll be asking for Shark King to choose which side of semifinals is going to go on. But once we do that, we're into playoffs time, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you in 10. Welcome back to the Pro Pokeball Season 5. We can no longer say Week 10 as we are done. Let's take it down a peg here. Let's talk about what we need to talk about. Let me just grab a couple of things. I just finished eating, so give me a couple minutes. It was good. It was, that is chicken casserole. Chicken? Was that chicken? I think it was chicken. Was it chicken casserole? No, that tasted like... Yeah, it was chicken casserole. Oh, hands, be okay. You're fine. Watch your ears. I apologize. There you go. Caught it. One moment as I grab the drawing. So the way that we're going to do this right now, because we have a clear, defined 3rd through 6th seed, we can actually also go over the fantasy draft winner if it ends up being evident. If it's a tie, then we're going to have to figure something out. Probably be a coin flip, honestly. Where did I put the things? Oh, shoot. I wrote them out before the next pick. Okay, so what I'm going to do, let's just show you guys here. So because we have our 6 seeds, the way that the playoffs work is all of these coaches go in. There will be an eliminations round for seed 3 through 6, and then seed 1 and 2 go straight to the semifinals. Seed 1 has the choice of which side they want to go on before the elimination round goes. So, the way that they choose is we randomize, we get the people going, and then we move on from there. They will bring a team for that best of 5 in the eliminations round. After that, those people going into the semifinals and the semifinalists, so in this case Fortnite Ninjas and Traverse City Thunderous, will all give me the final team that they will run through the semifinals and the finals. They are not allowed to make changes between the semis and the finals. There will be a banning and trade period pre-playoffs for all 6 coaches. You cannot trade with the coaches that have been eliminated. So Ice Cold and Las Vegas Golden Lucarios, they're teams that are officially locked. You cannot make a trade with them pre-playoffs. You can make a trade with the trade pool only before the eliminations round. Once we have our 4 semifinalists, the trade pool will be locked. You will bring the teams, like I said, you will be allowed to, you have to build your team of 12, and the bans will be done before the eliminations round, before semis, and before finals. Now, the eliminations rounds, both best of 5s will be played on the same day. In the semifinals will both be played on the same day, followed by the finals that same day, because you can't change your teams up. Are there any questions from any coaches or any viewers that want some clarification? Yes. So just to make it clear again, because most coaches that have been in here before are used to building one team through the entire quarter, semis, and finals, in this particular iteration, it'll be 2 teams. For those who are in the eliminations round, only 1 team for the semifinalists. But Traverse City Thunderous and Fortnite Ninjas do not have to provide me with their teams until we get to the semifinals and they see who their opponent is going to be. Yes, your email will be coming out tonight, regardless of when we are doing playoffs. I will tell you now, there will be at least 1 week between the times that we choose for playoffs. It is going to be an awkward time because not only do we have Extra Life taking up a bunch of time, we also have December we have to worry about. So ideally, I would like this all to be done before mid-November. We will also open up battle days beyond Wednesday nights. We will open up any days that I know that I'm going to be home or I will make available. If there are any weekend times I could do, we will make that available as well. Yes, it is the same from semis to finals. Yes, part of the challenge, which we'll go into more detail in the Pro Poke Podcast. You're going to want to listen to this week because we'll go into more of the meta game that's going to happen with the playoffs on the Pro Poke Podcast. But part of the challenge is throughout the regular season is seeing adaptations and building a team that helps you against your opponents week by week. Or look at the top 3 and have just really strong teams like they do. I'd say top 4. But the other challenge is once you go into the playoffs, it does celebrate the entire point of the Pro Pokeball, which was the drafting process. Who has the strongest draft? Who's going to be able to pull through and bring just the absolute strongest team with it? It's going to be exciting because anything can happen. We've seen upsets in the past. A few coaches in here can tell you horror stories, but a lot of good things. All right, let's get into this. I'm just building the thing now. Also, for the viewers, we will, yes, Diego, we will be building the, what's it called? We will be building, or we will be telling the winner of the fantasy draft after we build the brackets. So just give me 1 second here. I gotta grab everything that I have. Do I need this anymore? I don't. So, Sharking, you will see the bracket and you will tell me what we will do the randomizations. You will tell me what side you want to be on, and then we are good to go. I will then send an email out to all of you with the dates that I have available and the times, and then we will all vote on it. The semi-finalists do not have to worry about that until the semi-finals, so Mitchie and Sharking don't have to worry about that. But for the other 4 coaches, you'll be getting that first. So you need to answer that by Friday. I know it's a bit time-constricting, but we need to move along to make sure that if we do battle next week, I can get everything ready. Because I have a couple things I want to get done. I don't think it's going to happen this year, but we're going to try our best anyways if I have that opportunity to. Where did my bracket go? There it is. Okay, so let me just put in the names here. Now you might see when you see the brackets, I will have to move some names around. That's no big deal. It is doable. Make sure I'm spelling all the names correctly. Excuse me. I can breathe. I didn't lose all my breath commentating that last match. Jeez. What a season it's been, guys. Thank you everyone who has made this season awesome. Super, super happy with the things that we did this year to enhance the tournament feel, getting more viewership involved with everybody. That was the thing I was going to say. For viewers, every playoffs match you can bet on, and I'm going to even make it easy for you. I'm going to just let you bet on the winner and make a bunch of new bets. And on top of that, you can bet more than 30,000. I'm going to potentially put it up to over 100,000 new bets for you showing up on the time. Okay. So I've got the 6 here. So the way that I'm doing it is I put your names on cards here. All 4 of you are here. I'm going to fold them up the exact same way. We are going to draw them out of my lovely ProPokeNoob snapback. If you guys would like to buy this exclamation support in chat, you can get yourself some great merch. There's a ProPokeBowl shirt up there, as well as a lot of other great ProPokeNoob content that you could just put on your body. It's great. You can be your own content when I'm not live. I'm just saying, but we are going to draw out of this hat. It's a very good hat for drawing out of. I like digital isn't as exciting. I want to do it more, you know, tangible. Also, if you guys didn't get the message, look at the extra life. We hit the $400 milestone incentive. I gotta say thank you very much to ProPokeBowl Mom and Dad, because they donated $50, a very generous donation from the family. So we have an Ox lock during December, ladies and gentlemen. Get hyped for that extreme randomizer lock. It's painful. Ox might have to jump in on that if she's here listening. She's probably not, but the point being, if she finds out at some point when she pays attention. Okay, what does the bracket look like? Yep, first there, and we can just move these guys around if we want to. Okay. Let's just put these guys in order here. Why can't I... Oh, okay, one sec, hold on. It's not going to let me organize it unless I put 2. No, don't enable that. I want the order of participants list. Thank you. Just so I can put everybody in order. There we go. Okay. Excuse me. What am I doing? Okay, I'm gonna fold the names now. We're just gonna do a double fold format. It is written in ink for your benefit, not mine. I cannot see anything. I'm gonna fold it across the crease so I cannot officially tell. As you can see, I cannot see any of the name. I see bits and pieces of it. It does not matter. Into the time you go. That is a Lunar Cresselia's. We all be folded the same way. And what we're going to do is we're going to draw the sides first, and then we will place them in the brackets afterwards. It's 2. Alright, let's get some predictions in chat. Who thinks who's playing who? We got World Leader, we got Sweet D, we got Ivan, and we got Tyler Poke. Who's playing who? Who do you want to see? What matches do you want to see? And who do you think Shark King wants to play against? So at this point, everybody but Mitch has to worry about something. That's actually, you know what? Second place does get an advantage. You can just go home. You can just sleep and rest. Not have to worry. Takes what he gets. He goes from there. All right. All 4 names are into the hats. Let's start this off. I don't have a way to actually show it properly. I can show you the chalon. Well, no, because then I can't show you the hat. Either way. All right. Who's sleeping? You can hear it coming out of the ProPokeBowl noob hats. All right. First name drawn is Golden State Greninjas. They will be placed on one side of the bracket. The next name. So this person who is drawn means they don't have to play Golden State Greninjas, and this person cannot play until potentially the finals. If you're a GS Greninjas fan, you don't want to see I Am Groot again. You want to see I Am Groot drawn right now. Here we go. The second name put on the other side of the bracket is Lunar Cresselia's. 5th and 6th seed will not see each other until potentially in the finals. Let's move them over to here. Which means the next person drawn will be the person who plays Golden State Greninjas in the elimination round. It is either Manchester Manetric or I Am Groot. And the person who plays Golden State Greninjas will be... Oh, sweet hot hell. I Am Groot! Oh, boy. I Am Groot will be up against the Golden State Greninjas, which means, just for clarification's sake, to show that the final name was indeed there, the Manchester Manetric will be up against Lunar Cresselia's. It'll be Tyler Poke Trainer versus Ivan, and Golden State Greninjas versus I Am Groot. Funnily enough, oh, that doesn't even match up. So that's, what is that? That's 4th place versus 6th place. And 3rd place. Oh, sorry. No, it's 4th place. Yeah, it's 4th place versus 5th place and 3rd place versus 6th place. That's usually how a tournament goes. That's how we used to run it. Shark King, you now have the decision. Let me show you the bracket. Where are we here? Let's grab challenge. You can take a moment to think about this. Which side would you like? You want on the side? Well, then everything is just perfectly fine. Everything is perfectly fine. Traverse City Thunderous chooses the winner between Lunar Cresselia's and Manchester Manetric, and Fortnite Ninjas will play the winner between I Am Groot and Golden State Greninjas. Oh boy, that is a lot of rematches that we knew were extremely one-sided, but you know, that's part of the excitement of this. That's part of the control that you have as the first seed. And that's just the way it's going to be. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. This bracket will be posted for you on Discord as well as in social media. And that concludes Week 10 in the playoffs. That'll conclude Week 10 battles. That'll conclude the regular season. Thank you, everybody, for coming out and enjoying this with me. We're in. It's playoffs time. There's not much more to say because everything usually got done on stream. Now everything's going to be emailed and accounted for, and I'm going to be like, you know, it's just kind of an end at this point. So I don't know. Fantastic. Oh, the fantasy draft. Oh my goodness, the fantasy draft. Hold on. Oh, we're not done yet. Grab me fantasy. Starzonic. Grab me fantasy draft. Sorry, fantasy. I keep saying your name and I'm sure you're tilted. It's fine. These things happen. So, let me see. Oh man, I don't actually know. We gotta check this now. Season 5, mock. What do we got here? Alright. Now, I did this in here, right? Okay, so, I will not mention who the 2 people are, but let's see who's winning the fantasy draft. So, 4 people averaged 1 to 2 correct guesses, if they even got that. Let me do the official count. If anyone's interested in what they guessed in, you can ask me after, and I'll tell you your official count. But let me take a look. I'm going to highlight and confirm that everything is hunky-dory, and then we go from there. Where are we? Okay. Challenge. Alright. First place. 3 out of the 6 got correct. Second place. 1 out of the 6 got correct. Third place. Nobody got correct. Fourth place. 1 person got correct. Ooh. Interesting. Fifth place. Nobody got correct. Sixth place. Nobody got correct. Seventh. Oh wait, what is this? Fedora Gaming. With the already? Really? Wow. Jeez. With a resubscription. Thank you very much, Fedora. It's been a month. Thank you very much for the 2-year resub. Continue to be a fellow nooblet. Embrace the face, my friend. This is the screen, by the way, to embrace the face for now. Wait, did you already give me a name then? Yeah, it's just going to show a bunch of my face everywhere. See you, Mitch. Did you give me a name yet for your 24th? Or is this something else? Alright, hold on. Let me finish this really quick before I forget. Ice Cold in 7th place. Nobody predicted. LA Golden Lucarios in 8th place. 3 people predicted. The final tallies. Well, considering not a lot of people come. The winner. Because the winner that they chose for the playoffs are the same, and there's a clear winner during the regular season. The winner of the Fantasy Draft League and the $10 Steam gift card. Amagamma with 3 out of 8 correct guesses. Congratulations, Amma. You are the superior chat analyst. Happens to also be the superior moveset analyst on the ProPoke podcast, because I can't win at this point. But he has guessed correctly 3 out of the 8. And will be walking home. He'll be sitting back in his chair with a $10 Steam gift card. Of course, the champion of the ProPokeBowl will also be going away with a $10 Steam gift card. So, you earned your seat. You already earned your seat there, buddy. I asked you. Yeah, but thank you very much for that resub, Fedora. I very much appreciate that. Whether it's a redo or not, I don't care. Thank you. But yeah. I will send it to you later. I've got all your information. We go from there because you filled out the form, so I can send you everything you need. There you go. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining me tonight. Playoffs will begin when an announcement comes out and tells you when it's happening. We just go from there. So, yeah, I don't know. Bye? Let's go, Ray. Let's go host somebody. Oh yeah, wait, I can just click the host button now, because I have like a battleship where I can just click stuff. Host a channel. Who am I hosting? Oh no, not that person. Whoa, hold on. Host. Wait, did that automatically host me? If I accidentally click? No? Did you get any right, Suwako? I will tell you in private, I don't want to reveal any of the information on screen, because I don't want to embarrass anybody, nor do I want to, call anybody. Like, I don't want to give people's only the winners' predictions out. So, if you want in private, I will tell you. If any of you, by the way, who entered Fantasy Draft want it, I will put out an announcement on Discord and Twitter, and you guys can ask for me to give it to you in private because I have your information. So, still see me? Awesome. Who's tired? Not me. All right, I'm using the new. Yeah, cool. I know I'm live. I want to go check out who I'm... Oh, is this all the people that are live while who I'm following? You know what? Let's go to another tournament stream. Bad news, Nate is practicing for a Yu-Gi-Oh! 15-card mod rando that he's in. So I'm thinking we're going to go over and host him. Make sure you give him well-wishings for his matchup. And we will see you guys this Friday at 10 p.m. Eastern Time for Cube World with Jessaror and E. Frosty, a lovely couple. They are awesome. They are awesome people who stream together and separately. They're pretty cool, so maybe you should go take a look at them on your spare time. But for now, we're going to go host it for Bad News Nate. Make sure you give him a noob squid when you enter. Take care, everybody, and we'll see you for the playoffs in Pro Pokeball Season 5. Take care. Peace. What did I start saying take care?